He had a bigger smile against the Indians in the league championship when he came out. He looks like he's not at all distracted tonight. Terry Francona, very good friends with Curt Schilling. They came in together in 2004, because they were also together back in Schilling's Philadelphia Phillies days. And Francona has a lot of trust in his man on the mound. Clint Hurdle, on the other hand, not really sure what he's going to get out of Ubaldo Jimenez, his starter. The youngster making his first World Series start, but it's his 6th season at the helm with Colorado. Francona is really doing a great job solidifying his legacy. Look at this, his postseason career mark. Now 19-9. He's wearing 1 World Series ring, and he is 3 victories away from another one.
Well, you know, I think the great thing that Clint Hurdle was able to do this year was when he lost 3/5 of his rotation, he was able to piece that together with some young players. He's put a lot of responsibility on young Ubaldo Jimenez's shoulders tonight in Game 2.
Time for a look now at the starting lineup for the Colorado Rockies, presented by MasterCard. Willie Taveras, who was off last night, he was 0 for 4. He is in center field. Kaz Matsui at second. Matt Holliday's in left with Todd Helton at first base. Garrett Atkins is the third baseman. Brad Hopp in right. Troy Tulowitzki, the rookie shortstop, bats 7th. Yorvi Torrealba does the catching. And Ryan Spilborghs is the DH batting 9th. That is the same lineup that they lost with in Game 1 last night.
Well, and those are the same numbers, OB, that you saw when Boston faced Cleveland in the American League Championship Series out of Hafner. That guy hitting third, they were able to shut him down, and when you do that, I mean, that's the heart of the order. The Rockies need to get Holliday going. He struggled in Game 1 and Game 2 of the NLCS, but picked it up when they got back home.
The Red Sox racing out to the diamond. Time for us to meet the Boston Red Sox on defense behind Schilling.
Jason Varitek, catcher, USA. Kevin Euclid, first base, United States of America.
I'm Dustin Pedroia, second base, United States. Mike Lowell, third base, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Julio Lugo, shortstop, Dominican Republic.
Manny Ramirez, left field, Dominican Republic.
Jacoby Ellsbury, center field, USA.
JD Drew, right field, USA.
And it'll be Curt Schilling on the mound, the big right-hander from Anchorage, Alaska. 9-8 during the regular season. It's a fascinating season because they had to shut him down for a span during the middle of the summer. His fastball in the early part of the year was at 90 to 95 miles an hour, and said it'll be rare tonight if he even hits 90.
Well, I think if he's going to do it, he's going to do it in the first inning. From that point on, that velocity may start to go down, not only because it's cool, but I think the big concern for Boston tonight, OB, is the fact that he's going on normal rest. They've tried to give him an extra day or two, really, for the last 6 weeks, and it's helped a lot. We'll see what he's got left tonight.
Meanwhile, the youngster Jimenez making his way out of the bullpen, heading for the Colorado Rockies dugout along the third base line here at Fenway Park. He has had a couple of things to say about Curt Schilling, very, very positive things about Schilling, who is 17 years Schilling's junior. He has said he's one of the best pitchers in the history of the playoffs. He's not scared of anybody. I like him.
You know, I tell you something kind of funny. How about the route he took from the bullpen to his dugout? Most people go out around second base and right into the dugout, a direct shot. He, at 6'4" tall, he wanted to give everybody in that dugout for Boston a good look at that big frame.
Now you have to wonder what kind of ball game he's going to pitch tonight. He has a tendency to be wild. He has a tendency to walk people. He really hasn't been doing that in the postseason. His command has been very good. He has the kind of fastball that Curt Schilling used to have in his heyday. The Red Sox were very, very comfortable in the batter's box, as they were throughout those last 3 games in the Cleveland series.
Well, there were some things that were said in that Colorado clubhouse before the game about how they had their way with us last night. It was kind of like an extended batting practice. What they're talking about is moving some people off home plate.
We'll keep an eye on that as an early development. And we'll see how Taveras and the Rockies come out tonight. Last night it was Beckett slamming the door on them quickly. They never got it open. 3 consecutive strikeouts. Curt Schilling in 3 postseason starts has not lost this month.
Tell you what, here's another early development. If Tavares does not get going offensively tonight, there may be somebody else leading off for the Rockies in Game 3.
Schilling's first pitch. Fouled back for strike one, and we're underway. Yet Tavares was 0 for 4. He struck out twice in Game 1. Josh Beckett made him his appetizer for another feast for the Red Sox ace, striking out the first 4 batters in the ball game. It started with Tavares.
Well, you know, he's only been on base like 5 times in the last 28 at bats, and that's with 1 good game.
Runs up to Bunton, bunted it foul. So he's behind 0-2, and that's one of his big weapons offensively. Josh Beckett struck out the first 4 men he faced. That was 1 short of the record that Sandy Koufax shares for strikeouts at the beginning of a World Series game. Tonight he gets to be a spectator.
That's a good feeling.
The 0-2. Left it just low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kaz Matsui on deck. To their credit, not a single Colorado player, coach, or the manager used their 8-day layoff since the NLCS as an excuse for getting beaten up last night. They all gave Beckett credit and the Red Sox hot bats. Here's the 1-2. Fastball got him. It hit him. Got him on the hand, and Tavares is on. In a little bit of pain right now, and on a chilly night like this, that'll really sting. But he is on base.
You know what? That ball wasn't that far from the inside corner, but look at how he dives. And you can see there he got his head back out of the way, but never moved his hands. I think as much as he has struggled offensively and their team last night, well, even though it's a little bit sore, he'll gladly take it.
Yeah, that's how we all look when we catch our finger in the car door. Probably feels very similar.
Well, his hand might be sore, but his legs feel real good.
Excellent speed in Tavares. He stole 33 bases during the regular season. He's already accomplished something he couldn't do last night. As the leadoff man, he's aboard. And here's Matsui. Strike 1 to him. Kaz Matsui 1 for 4 with an infield single last night.
Did you notice that, though? 85 miles an hour here in the first inning. And why I thought he would be at his best in the first is because we saw him. He just recently came from the bullpen. His arm is good and loose and warm. He hasn't had to sit down yet.
The 0-1 runner not going, swung right through. 0-2.
Take a look at what could be a key to the ball game tonight. He has to prevent crooked numbers. You can't give up a lot. OB, I honestly think as well as they're swinging the bat offensively, he could give up a run in the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and probably at least get a no decision or maybe a win tonight.
People around the Red Sox are saying that this is the best their lineup has swung the bats collectively all season long and probably in the last 2 years. So it's so important for the Rockies to jump on Schilling. Fouled back by Matsui. Holiday on deck. Excellent speed at the top of the order for the Rockies if they choose to run. Count 0-2 here on Matsui. Tavares and Matsui combined for 65 stolen bases, but Schilling is very intelligent about managing the running game. Veritek his catcher.
Well, there's no reason to have Tavares at the top of the order if he's not going to run now. You try to pick an off-speed pitch, something a little slower getting to the plate to go on, but he's got to go at some point.
2 strikes, you think it might be now, but he's not running, and it's fouled off of the plate on the check swing by Matsui. He's still alive.
Not afraid to come in. Even after it cost him a base runner with the first guy coming right back up and in. Usually with Curt Schilling and Veritek, that combination is to set up either the splitter or changeup down in the zone. Maybe a good pitch to run on here.
Tavares digging out a little longer lead, not going, and it's spoiled again by Matsui. the second baseman from Japan. The Indians did not run that frequently in the American League Championship Series. They had just 3 stolen bases against Boston. Schilling's pretty cagey and has a decent move for a right-hander. Runner holds again, a high fly left center field, racing for it. Ellsbury, the rookie, on the warning track, and he's there to make the catch. Fading back into first base, Tavares, 1 man out. And now the big boys coming up. The men the Rockies truly relied on to get them into postseason play. Here comes Matt Holliday. Holliday not only won the batting title in the National League, hitting .340. He also won the RBI crown, driving in 137 runs. Last night he was 0 for 4, striking out twice in game 1. Inside under the elbows for ball 1.
During the regular season, the Rockies were 28-5 when the big boy hit a home run. They would love to do that right now and put up one of those crooked numbers on their side.
Tavares has yet to even think about stealing second base. He's running now, and it's fouled away. And he got a pretty good jump there. 1 ball and 1 strike on Holliday. He has to go back to first.
Tell you what, Tavares there tipped that he was going to be off and running with his left foot. You could see him trying to get a good grip in that ground. Watch him taking his lead right here, and watch what he does with his back leg. The Red Sox are as good as anybody at picking up little things that guys do when they're going to run. You see him right there now. Now as he comes up, watch that back leg. Look at him digging it in to get it going, and then he went. No dig that time.
Not running, and it's outside. 2-1. Just 2 stolen bases allowed in his entire playoff career. It's awfully impressive.
Digging it. He's digging it.
And he's running. Ground ball sharply knocked down by Lowell on the dive. Tavares is heading into third. Nobody there. Heading up into second is Holliday as it skitters to the pitcher's mound. And the Rockies have runners at second and third. And they're in business here in the first inning. Lowell with the diving effort just succeeded in slowing that down. And Tavares with some alert base running advanced to third.
Well, take a look here at what he does, boys. See that foot start to turn a little bit. You knew he was going. He takes off now. He checks the baseball, and when it gets by Lowell, he knows that there's nobody at third base. And when you've got speed, OB, you've got to use that. I'm really surprised. That was not only a bad throw on the part of Lowell, but it was a mental mistake by making that throw. He takes the double play out of order, and an opportunity now for Helton to help them with that lead right now they have not had yet in this series.
So it's a single and an error charge to Mike Lowell on that throw to allow Holliday to get down to second base. And now there are 2 men in scoring position right away for Todd Helton, who's been the face of the Rockies for a long time.
Not been the face that Curt Schilling likes to see, though. Helton had a lot of success in this matchup.
Inside ball 1. You have 54 at bats, so they have extensive experience against one another. And Helton with a batting average of .333 against Big Schill
with 5 home runs.
First base is open, and that's down and in. 2-0.
Helton's always been so smart, and he realizes this isn't the Curt Schilling he faced back with Philadelphia and then later on with Arizona. This is a finesse type guy, and he's been real patient there on those first 2 cut fastballs.
Well, Helton's a patient hitter. 116 walks over the course of the season. That's a strike. Over the inside edge. He's working him in. 2-1 to count. They hit batsman a single and an error. And now Colorado could be a base hit away from taking a 2-0 lead.
how about the confidence would that not only give this young team, the young manager, but the young pitcher on the mound?
Ground ball yanked to the right side. A run will score. The toss to first base, and Colorado takes a 1-0 lead here in the first inning. So Schilling a little bit wild, hitting a batter, and it costs him. As Tavares touches home and Helton picks up the RBI on the ground out.
OB, I think what cost him more than anything, though, was the throw by Mike Lowell. As good defensively as anybody was, particularly during the postseason and even during the regular season after a slow start. But that throw he made took the double play out of order. This inning could have been over on that ground ball.
It was almost as if halfway through the throw, Lowell thought to himself, oh no,
yeah, exactly.
What am I doing?
That's a great point.
And misfired badly. Well, here comes Atkins. Schilling with the windup back. A man at third. And that's in there for strike one on Garrett Atkins. Last night 1 for 4 with a double. So far it's been a disappointing postseason for Atkins in terms of batting average and no home runs. And just 1 run batted in. So he's trying to get going against the Red Sox tonight. Off the corner, it's 1-1.
Go back to that play one more time and how big it was. There's Lowell. He knocked it down. But then you're exactly right. It's like it started to come out of his hand. He went, oh, I can't be throwing this there. There's a man on first base. Well, he got to second, and now he's standing at third.
Atkins drove in 111 runs during the season. Knocked down by Veritek. He finished 8th in the National League in runs batted in.
You know what, though? Still no crooked number with all the things that have gone on. The hit batsman, the ground ball base hit, the error, the base runner off and running. It's a big out for Curt Schilling.
Taps softly. Lowell on the charge, has time, and gets it. Schilling gets that big out. Colorado is on the scoreboard. Mike Lowell making that final play. 1. The Red Sox are coming up. Here's a look at the starting lineup presented by MasterCard. It'll be Pedroia, Youkilis, and Ortiz. Same top 3 as last night. Then Manny Ramirez, also the cleanup man again. Mike Lowell at third base. Bit of a flip there between J.D. Drew and Jason Veritek, 6 and 7. But Julio Lugo had 3 hits last night. Is at shortstop. He's picked it up offensively. And Jacoby Ellsbury is in center field batting 9th. And backing up Jimenez, the Colorado Rockies on defense. Let's meet them.
Yorvi Torrealba, catcher, Venezuela.
Todd Helton, first base.
United States of America.
Kazuo Matsui, second baseman, Japan.
Garrett Atkins, third base, United States.
Troy Tulowitzki, shortstop, United States of America. Matt Holliday, left field, USA. Willie Taveras, center field, Dominican Republic. Brad Hawk, right field, United States.
Red Sox trying to build on their 13-1 rout last night against Ubaldo Jimenez.
4 and 4 on the year. You take a look, no record in the postseason, but you look at that ERA, you look at all the strikeouts. The only problem is those 8 walks. What will his command be tonight in this atmosphere?
A pressure-filled spot for the 23-year-old rookie. And Pedroia, who launched a home run against Francis to begin the World Series for Boston, will dig in against this right-hander. Just like with the 04 World Championship team, the Red Sox now have a dynamic leadoff man. He swings and flies that one routinely to shallow left. In comes Holliday for the put-away. 1 man gone. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, we've talked about the key for Boston being Schilling, staying away from the crooked numbers. He was able to do that. Take a look at this. With this lineup, why would you say try to find a way to figure out you? Well, Obi, since the start of the ALCS, 9 of the last 10 innings in which Boston has scored 3 or more runs, he's been on base. You need to shut him down.
He's the hottest hitter in this Red Sox powerhouse lineup right now. He takes ball 1. Youkilis ripped the first of the Sox 8 doubles last night. He added another in the 7-run 5th. Fouled off, and it's 1-1. Jimenez during the regular season 4-4, an ERA of 4.28. They called him up from AAA because of injuries in the big league rotation just after the All-Star break. Swung on in a deep drive, but Tavares is there. It does not carry, and right before the warning track, he makes the catch for the second out.
They're pretty comfortable, aren't they? Pedroia swinging at that first pitch, trying to take it deep. There's Euclid. Look at this swing. I mean, diving out over that outside corner. This offense has felt real good about themselves, honestly, since Beckett took them out in Game 5 of the ALCS. They've been terrific, scoring a lot of runs. The Indians refuse to move them off of home plate. Let's see what the Rockies do.
Here's Ortiz backing away. It's down and in ball one. 332 during the regular season with 35 homers and 117 RBIs. Had a big night in Game 1. 3 hits, 2 RBIs, scored 2 runs. Hits that one into the shift, gobbled up by Matsui in a nice play. Inside is retired. Just 6 pitches. That's all Jimenez needed. He's off to an excellent start in his first night in the World Series at the end of 1. Colorado on top of the Red Sox. 1-0 here in Game 2. With October. And after an inning, Colorado leads the Red Sox 1-0. Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien with you, guiding you through this 103rd edition of the Fall Classic. Kurt Schilling back on the hill, facing off against Hop, Tulowitzki, and Torrealba in the second inning. He hit the first batter he faced tonight. Would eventually come in to score. 0-1 on Hop.
This guy's got one of those swings, OB. I mean, he can go from awful to awesome in a hurry. He was awful last night, but he's a kid with an awful lot of confidence.
29 homers in season. Up the middle he goes, and a base hit. So the second hit off of Schilling for Colorado. The second straight inning he's allowed the leadoff man on.
Yeah, but in the second inning, he threw nothing but off-speed pitches there to the first hitter. Just wonder if that shoulder didn't tighten up on him a little bit, and he just, you see him stretching it a lot. I saw him doing that between every warm-up pitch. Look at this. Kurt Schilling to the first hitter, not throwing a fastball in the first 2 pitches. That's been unheard of for a long time.
Red Sox already a little thin in the starting pitching department because of the same sort of shoulder, because of Tim Wakefield's problems. Here's Tulowitzki at 291 during the season with 99 runs batted in. Had a couple of hits, pair doubles last night in the loss. Wakefield not able to go in this series, not on this roster for the World Series. In there for a strike. He was supposed to pitch tonight.
I think that's a big blow for them too, because he not only pitched well against the Rockies earlier in the year, but if you could have split up Beckett's fastball with a knuckleball and then come back with Kurt Schilling on 2 extra days rest in his fastball, now that would have been something special, tough to adjust to.
Tulowitzki trying to bunt and bunted it inside the batter's box. It was off of him.
Laz Diaz with an outstanding job. I've had him probably 3 times during the regular season this year, and he's been terrific. Look at him right there. He sees it perfectly. The ball hits off his knee. It was a great ideal on the part of Tulowitzki, and it was exactly the right call by the home plate umpire. He did not need any help. He got it himself.
The rule is if that strikes him when he's outside the batter's box, the batter is automatically called out. Half a wave and a miss, and down he goes. Kurt Schilling attacking with that splitter and collects his first strikeout. 1 man out in the second.
Well, they're going to strike out. You've got some guys that got a lot of homers, and a lot of times even with 2 strikes, not only just the Rockies, but a lot of teams, OB, in this day and age, they're still trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Only the Phillies, Padres, and Marlins in the National League struck out more frequently than Colorado. And here comes Jorge Torrealba, the catcher. 255, 8 homers during the season. He drove in 55. He has hit Schilling well as Hop gets back in. We were talking about Helton in the first inning. Torrealba not nearly as many at bats against this right-hander, only 12, but he has 6 hits. So he's at 500 off Schilling. 1-0 Colorado after 1 inning. We're into the second here at Fenway. That's up and in. A curveball that didn't do much, and it counts 1-0.
Well, we haven't seen a fastball yet from Curt Schilling. We saw some aggressive base running in the first inning on the part of the Rockies. See, that goes completely even out of the picture there. Let's see, I know there's no speed at first base, but you got a contact guy at home plate, a pitcher on the mound that throws strikes. If you're going to hit and run, this is your combination.
Runner not going on the hack by Torrealba. Ryan Spilborgh's the designated hitter, is on deck. Clint Hurdle bats his DH 9th.
How big of an advantage is that for the Boston Red Sox?
Well, it's an advantage they're going to lose for Game 3 at Coors Field.
Another thing they're going to lose, it's probably going to be a lot of defense. Big Papi's not healthy. That knee's not solid. But every indication I get from the Red Sox, he's going to be out there for Game 3 and 4 against the right-handed pitcher. And that means Youkilis will sit. Mike Lowell's going to play.
The 1-1 runner holding, bounding ball to the middle. Lugo taps second on the first, double play. 6-3 side retired. The manager, Clint Hurdle, decided not to send that runner, and Schilling gets out of the inning on just 9 pitches and a double play ball. Fenway Park, Boston, 1-0 Colorado. To the bottom of the second we go. Let's check out the umpiring crew for tonight. That's Laz Diaz behind home plate. He has the balls and strikes.
Well, and he's also had his 9th year at the big league level, 4th postseason, and it is his very first World Series. So obviously a thrill for Diaz to be back there. Ted Barrett, he'll be behind the home plate in Game 3. Merriweather in Game 4. Everett 5. Mike Riley, the veteran, in Game 6, and if needed, well, 5 and 6 are if needed. Ed Montague will be back there for the deciding game.
Eddie Montague, who's the crew chief, had the plate last night. There were no complaints at all about Ed's work. As always, he was stellar. Manny Ramirez to lead things off against Ubaldo Jimenez. Manny, who is really swinging it free and easy, hitting .441 through the postseason. He has 15 hits, 15 walks, 16 RBIs in 11 games.
I get it. And now we understand why we were hearing what we heard in the Rocky clubhouse from guys that are way too comfortable.
First pitch pumped in there for a strike on Ramirez. He'll be followed by Mike Lowell and then J.D. Drew. That was 97 on the radar gun from Jimenez. He can bring it. The 0-1 socked on the ground. A third backhand stab by Atkins across the diamond in time. And Ramirez is 0 for 1 tonight. So Jimenez has gotten the first 4 out rather quickly. And all 4 of them have been hitting the ball quite well.
Tell you what, though, he's fooled the last 2 guys by throwing a 2-seam fastball. This ball's a sinker. Now it's sinking at, like you said, 96, 97. Look at the movement there. See, it's not moving a whole lot because it's going so fast. But right at the end, it's got a little downward tilt to it, and that's the reason Big Papi and Manning have hit it on the ground.
Strike 1, something to really look at tonight. We'll track it for you. How often Jimenez is 0-1 on a Red Sox hitter. Jake Westbrook really mastered that against Boston in his first start in the ALCS for Cleveland. different kind of pitcher, but getting on top, strike one, changes things against a Red Sox lineup that loves to wear you down and will take ball 4. A lunging swing to his left. It's Atkins. He guns across, 2 down. Jimenez out of the chute, making this look easy. He's retired the first 5. Here comes J.D. Drew.
I think he might have been paying attention to not so much what his pitcher did last night, but what Josh Beckett did. Once Beckett got that lead, OB, I talked to him for quite a while before the game tonight. He just kind of put it in cruise mode with that 2-seam fastball. Just throw it up there, let him beat it in the ground, have some easy innings and low pitch count innings.
Strike one on Drew. Francis in the first 2 innings for Colorado labored to throw 56 pitches. 0-2 on Drew.
You know, I think when you've got a control guy like Francis is, all of that layoff is going to affect him more than a power guy.
Drew 2 for 5 in the Red Sox win last night. Takes one inside. Jimenez is a strikeout pitcher. He has been throughout the minor leagues and his brief stay in the big leagues this year. That one hits him. J.D. Drew struck by the pitch. And slow to rise, hasn't gotten up off all 4s yet.
Let me tell you something, when it hits him and comes back towards the pitcher, it hit him really hard. And when you throw as hard as Ubaldo Jimenez does, I will be surprised if he is able to complete this ball game. He's going to be sore.
Drew, of course, has had a history of injury problems.
Look at that, he moved right back into that pitch. Oh boy. I mean, he throws so hard, OB, that might have broke a bone or 2.
Drew is up. Paul Lessard, the Red Sox trainer there, along with Terry Francona. Francona making sure that Drew is all right to continue. Let's see where it got him. Just above that ankle. Tavares was hit by a pitch by Schilling that caught Tavares on the hand. And now J.D. Drew has been hit by a pitch. Red Sox with a first base runner of the night. And here comes Veritek. He takes in for a strike. Red Sox captain 2 for 4, 2 RBIs last night on a 2-run double in the 4th inning. Red Sox with 8 doubles in that win. They put some dents in the Green Monster. Drew getting his lead, not a big one. And that is just outside. 1-1. Jimenez, for a guy who has a reputation of having control problems, I mean, when he's missed tonight, he's barely missed. Last one he tossed was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That was right after a 72-mile-an-hour curveball.
How about that gap? Boy, that is nice.
On the corner with a changeup, and it's 1-2. That was 81.
You know, this is the first time he's been in the stretch. And I give Torrealba a lot of credit. The veteran catcher back there called the curveball right off, got a strike. Then he came with a fastball. Right back with another off-speed pitch, knowing it. I mean, Veritek, he sits dead red. He loves the fastball.
Down he goes. The fastball got him. Strike 3 called. Jimenez impressive in his first 2 innings. Just 19 pitches. A totally different start than Jeff Francis last night. That's good news for the Rockies, who lead it 1-0 going to the 3rd. Email at tvquestions@website.mlb.com. There's that address on the bottom of your screen. Get to as many as we can. We love hearing from you wherever you are from around the world. We do read all of them. Rick grades some of them for penmanship.
That was a lot of fun last night. Of course, we had the kind of game where we could get to a lot more of them.
Well, the Rockies have had the leadoff batter on each of the first 2 innings against Schilling. A hit batsman and a single. Ryan Spilborghs will try and keep that going, the designated hitter, to be followed by Tavares and then Matsui. Schilling with good career numbers against the Rockies. He's 11-6 against them. That's fouled away by Spilborghs.
How about Ryan, man? How about hitting 299? 264 at bats, just one more hit. He would have gotten to 300. What's worse, doing that or being like Tulowitzki and having 99 RBIs? I don't know. Still good years.
In for a strike. I think hitting 300 means a little less than it used to. If you're the kind of guy who gets on base a lot, you draw a lot of walks. If you're a home run hitter, a big-time home run hitter, the batting average means virtually nothing.
Yep.
But for a guy like Spilborghs to know that one more hit would have gotten you there. Here's the 0-2 up top for a ball. Well, that's the difference in the Curt Schilling of the old days, the Curt Schilling of 2007. That fastball that he elevated there was 88. Used to be closer to 98 when he really cut it loose. 1-2 fouled away by Spilborghs.
That's one thing he's still able to do, and I really think it's a main reason he will come back to pitch again next year. We talked last night about how he still has that desire to prepare to play, and he still has the command. He can still locate it, even though it's not at the same speeds that it's been.
He rocks and delivers and left it downstairs. 2-2. Schilling has announced he would like to return to baseball next season, to pitch at least another year, maybe 2. He's 40 years old now. In all likelihood, that will not be in a Red Sox uniform. Got him looking. Strike 3 called. Schilling picks up his second K.
I think a lot of reasons he'll come back and play again. He's got 216 career wins, but he's also got 3,116 strikeouts. That's only one shy of Bob Gibson for 14th on the all-time list. He'll come back and get that one.
Tavares was hit by a pitch and came around to score eventually in the first inning. As an inside pitch from Schilling grazed his hand, he socks him with a curveball for a strike. Willie Tavares, the 25-year-old right-hand hitter from the Dominican Republic. And Matsui after him. Called strike, and now Mike Lowell, who had been in guarding against the bunt, can play back at normal depth. The crowd trying to will the veteran to a strikeout. Ground ball, and there's Lowell to his left. 2 down.
That was a nice package right there of pitches from Curt Schilling. The breaking ball at about 70 miles an hour, then his best fastball at 90. There's that gap again that you look for, and then he just threw the splitter on the outer half. It had a little downward movement. He got that easy out that he needed. He's got himself a pitcher's duel right now, not having the luxury of all the runs that a lot of times you get with the Red Sox.
Matsui 0 for 1 with a fly to center. .288 during the season with 4 home runs. In the division series, he had a memorable grand slam for the Rockies. Base is empty, 2 down for Colorado. They lead it 1-0, and that's a strike. Now the fans in full throat here at Fenway Park as they rise up to support Schilling, who has given them so many big-time thrills here the last few years. Too high to make it 1-2. His courageous performance during the Bloody Sock series has gone down into baseball history as one of the guttiest performances ever. Got him looking, strike three. Back-to-back Ks here in the third for Schilling. 1-2-3 go the Colorado Rockies. He strikes out Spilborghs and he gets Matsui. Colorado on top 1-0 after 2.5 in game 2. The coziest baseball stadium in America, only 37,000 or so. That's with some standing room. Jimenez, as opposed to Francis last night, has been ultra economical. The first 2 innings, Rick, just 19 pitches.
Well, that's pretty cozy right there, but you just think about the very first hitter. What happened last night? Pedroia on the second pitch hit a homer. Tonight on the first pitch, he popped up.
Jimenez to take on Lugo, Ellsbury, and Pedroia. That's 8, 9, and 1 as we go to the third inning. Red Sox with 9 extra base hits last night. Jacoby Ellsbury hitting in that 8th spot. And that is outside. The guy is going to be a top of the order hitter. But batting down in the lower part of the order, up and away for a ball.
Here we go. Here's where they work that pitch count, and here's just one of the many reasons they're so excited about Ellsbury. If he gets on, he's not going to stay at first base very long.
And finds the corner for a strike, 2-1.
Where did he find this power at? Ellsbury with 2 homers at the minor league level this year. He already got 3 in just over a month.
Well, he went for 1 there. The count 2-2. Ellsbury said of his home run surge, so to speak, that his legs were very, very strong. And he felt like he has just over the course of the season started to learn how to use his legs to help drive the ball. Little chopper charging Matsui, quickly gets rid of it. Jimenez comes back from that 2-0 count to get Jacoby Ellsbury.
Tell you what, for me, that man right there had a lot to do with it. Dave Magadan, one of the better hitting coaches in all of baseball, having a terrific year here. And you know, he found that power source in Ellsbury. If you watch him, I know you have, OB, in batting practice. I mean, he is as impressive as anybody in hitting home runs.
Lugo hit 8 of them during the regular season, but he's just thinking about a single right now. No one has a hit yet against Jimenez. Starts him with a curveball for strike 1. Pedroia on deck, 1 down, bases empty for Boston, 1-0 Rockies. Jimenez out of Nagua in the Dominican Republic. That's a strike.
I think everybody got fooled there, even home plate umpire Laz Diaz. This is the first slider. It's just a little harder, tighter breaking ball. And it looked like a fastball. Watch this. It looks like a fastball for the longest time. And then just that little bite at the end. That's the first time Laz Diaz had seen that pitch. And I think he missed that one.
And I think Lugo told him exactly that. The 0-2. Fastball, ground ball. Covering that hole, Matsui. 2 down. Only 1 man has reached so far in the first 3 innings against Jimenez, and that was a hit batsman.
We've talked about this being the best defensive team in baseball. Watch what they do on the right side here. Watch the read here that Helton gets, knowing the range of Matsui. Look at that. Helton took a peek at it, but he says, I know my guy. I know he's got as much range as anybody in baseball at second base. Look at Helton right there. He thought about it. You know, with a lot of second basemen at first base, got to try to go get it. But with Matsui and Tulowitzki, their range up the middle, Helton making the right decision there.
Highest fielding percentage in Major League history. Down and in. The Rockies, a competitive ball club for most of the season, then really caught fire in September. But they played excellent defense and pitched so much better than past Rocky teams. Kind of gone away from the big boppers of the past, the Blake Street Bombers of the older days. That's down low for ball 3.
You know, that's truly kind of what the Red Sox tried to do this year in finding ways to prevent runs rather than trying to score all the runs. Brent Hurdle's team had the #1 average, as you've mentioned, in the National League, but 8th in ERA, which is tremendous for their ballpark.
Up and in for ball 4. Pedroia is on with 2 down in front of Youkilis. Jimenez walking his first man of the evening.
Here we go. And you know, here's the perfect spot to me for that key. The key to controlling Youkilis. We talked about him. Figure a way to get him out because he's been right in the middle of the big innings since the American League Championship started. And what's going to happen? If he gets on here, look who's coming up next.
It'll be David Ortiz after Youkilis if he gets that far. There are 2 down. Rockies leading it 1-0 in the 3rd. Too high. So suddenly the plate is moving around a bit on Ubaldo Jimenez. Torrealba would like a chat. The catcher out to the mound. Manny Ramirez right after David Ortiz if the inning is still kicking. Sox did it with 2 outs all night last night.
You know, it's been happening throughout the series. Cleveland did it to get to the American Championship Series.
Fastball for a strike evens the count at 1-1.
The Rockies have done it throughout the postseason. And now Ubaldo's getting it done right at the top of the zone. That is a perfect strike, even in the count up. And you know what? That walk to Pedroia is no big deal. If you can get Youkilis out, that's perfect having Big Papi leading off.
Check swing. That's across for a strike.
There's that slider. That is a good pitch. That's where you talk about the high ceiling on this kid. That is in a perfect spot. He's made 2 pitches that I don't care how hot you are. Even Kevin Youkilis not even able to swing the bat at him.
Youkilis 2 for 5. 3 runs scored last night to keep it going. That one right over his helmets. I think there was a little purpose there.
I think maybe a little adrenaline. You can't hit him because Ortiz is in the on-deck circle. Right now, though, I guarantee you, I've been that hitter. You start checking your head for leaks, man. It's like, I know that ball, it had to hit me. Where'd it go? You could hear Youkilis yell all the way up here. Now let's see what kind of approach the hitters have. We've not seen that done to Boston, I mean, in a long, long time.
Pedroia at first with 2 down and a 2-2 pitch. Now 3-2. Well, Jimenez just walked a man. He's on the verge of walking another.
Finding a way to get this man out.
The 3-2 runner goes. Fouled away at the plate. They'll do it again. The right-hand hitters just had a terrible time off Jimenez during the regular season. He held them to a .212 batting average. Lefties not all that much better, but just ate up right-handers. Youkilis fouling that off his own foot. Runner takes off, and that is low for ball 4. Back-to-back walks by Ubaldo Jimenez.
That was some kind of an at-bat right there. Unbelievable how perfect he was on the first 2. Breaking ball he missed with. Now look at strike 1. I mean, that is paint on the inside corner. Look at strike 2. More paint on the outside corner. There you go. Now how are you going to hang in there now? Well, he missed with that breaking ball, but watch this. Look at that. That's a breaking ball that a lot of people after a face ball can't do anything with. And then OB, most people would have chased that changeup there. He did not, setting the stage for another big inning by getting on.
And a big man in the batter's box, David Ortiz, 0 for 1. He's grounded to second. 2 on, 2 out for the Red Sox. They're down 1-0 in the third. That's a strike on the outside edge. Ortiz not thrilled with the call from Laz Diaz.
Well, it certainly wasn't a pitch that you want to swing at. Really up to this inning, the kid has demonstrated an ability to not only throw strikes, OB, but to both sides of the plate. The last 2 hitters have gotten away from him, though, and now that lead could get away.
The Red Sox thinking this would be a great time for the first hit of the night. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ortiz. Manny Ramirez on deck. Ortiz with a good, solid postseason. Not spectacular by his standards. Hit .292, just 3 RBIs in the 7 games of the ALCS. Has an opportunity here in Game 2 of the World Series as he backs away, and it's 2-1. Jimenez working himself into trouble. There's more trouble. Hitters count 2 on. Jimenez trying to protect a 1-run lead. A key moment in this game. Slinging a fly ball toward the pesky pole into the corner, and that ball is a foul ball. Off into the stands. Well, Ortiz had everybody in the ballpark thinking about that relatively cheap Fenway homer.
Tell you why he did, because normally when a guy hits a ball like this, he'll just stand there at home plate knowing that it is foul. But he didn't know what was going to happen to this. He didn't know if that baseball was going to pick up some yellow paint or not. Look at him. I got to get going. I got to get going. Look at him leaning towards fair territory, trying to keep that ball fair with his body. We've seen that happen here before in the World Series at Fenway. He couldn't keep that one there, though, but he's still alive.
Oh, a defensive swing, and he just got a piece of it. Ortiz barely hanging in there. Different inning for him. Jimenez with 24 pitches already thrown. More than he threw in the first 2 innings combined.
Well, that's frustrating for a pitcher to make such a good pitch as he did on that last one and have a hitter just kind of an emergency swing at it, get a piece of it, forcing you to do something again.
The 2-2. Did he hold up? No, that's strike 3 swinging. He's gone. And Jimenez not intimidated at all by the vocal Fenway crowd. 3 hitless innings from him. 2 men stranded for the Red Sox. Still 1-0 Colorado. Through 3 here in Game 2, Colorado clinging to that 1-0 lead, but Ubaldo Jimenez looks like he has been on this stage before. He's only 23 years old, the rookie, striking out David Ortiz after back-to-back walks, leaving Pedroia and Euclid stranded, and so Kurt Schilling is back at it, still trailing 1-0.
Where the kid showed a lot of composure and also the ability to use different pitches, OB. When he didn't go for the changeup, he threw the curveball. That's the one that he fouled off, and then he came right back with that tight slider in underneath the check swing to get the out.
Jimenez has been between 70 and 96 miles an hour on the radar gun. Here's Holiday. He singled, and then went to second on the error by Lowell. His first time up, he takes a strike. They'll be followed by Helton and then Atkins here in the 4th inning. Last night, Colorado's top of the order just didn't get it done. Their 1, 2, and 3 hitters went 1 for 12 and struck out 5 times at the hand of Josh Beckett. They've already improved on that tonight with 2 men on base against Schilling. Now, Holliday is a guy who will strike out despite all of his excellent numbers. He does have some holes in that swing. He struck out nearly 130 times.
Well, I don't know, OB, that Kurt's going to be able to strike him out with the velocity we're seeing right now. You remember, he set for a long time before coming out here in the top of the 4th. That last that was a fastball at 84.
2-1 evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As you pointed out, if his location with that fastball in that 87 to 89 range is there, he can still manipulate with that splitter and the changeup.
Look at this, though. Hard of the plate, 83 miles an hour, no swing.
3-2. Helton on deck, the man who was nearly a member of the Boston Red Sox back in the spring, in a trade that fell through at the 11th hour. The payoff pitch up the middle for a base hit. Holliday now 2 for 2 after a hitless game 1. And another leadoff man on. That's 3 times in the first 4 innings for Colorado.
Well, there's only been 3 hits on the whole night tonight. All 3 of them by the Rockies and 2 of them by the guy that they truly needed to get hot. When you think about Boston and their success against Cleveland, the Indians kept waiting on Travis Hafner to get it going. He never did. It looks like Holliday, his bat has awakened.
Helton 0 for 1, but his big chopper to first base drove in a run in the first inning. Swings at the pitch, drives it deep to center. Ellsbury back just shy of the wall to make the catch. Helton sending that one for a ride, but Fenway held it. Holliday back to first, and a long, noisy out from Todd Helton.
That right there is the reason a lot of the offensive number for the Rockies are kind of misunderstood. That ball is out if that ball is hit just like that in game 3, 4, or 5 in Denver. I mean, he thought he had it, and he did in a different yard.
1 gone for Atkins now, the third baseman 0 for 1. He is grounded out to his counterpart, Mike Lowell. Swings at a high fly into left center, but no carry on it. Manny Ramirez lines it up. 2 down. Atkins going after the first pitch just as Todd Helton did. So attacking Schilling early. And that'll send up the right fielder Brad Hopp.
Well, they had really good pitches to hit. And you wonder if this is not part of the rust coming off from these guys. Don't forget, not only did they have 8 days off between games, but that really wasn't like playing a game against Beckett. He was so good and overpowering last night. This is really the first time they've had a chance to do anything.
Rockies with a 1-0 lead here in the 4th. Hopp has singled tonight. He goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Lugo there calls everyone off, and he's got it. The side is retired. 3 first pitch outs. So even though a couple of those were fat, Schilling gets through the rest of the inning unscathed. 1-0 Colorado. But when I do, I'm a bad man.
Tell you what, I was talking with Josh Beckett before the game, and he brought up Manny talking about him being one strong man. He said it's really impressive when he's in that weight room, and he also talked about him being there pretty much every day.
He's 0 for 1 tonight. He's grounded out to third against Jimenez, who has been impressive through the first 3 innings on the mound. He's walked 2. He has struck out 2. He's hit a batter. Curveball, and Manny couldn't hold up. It's strike 1 on the swing. Jimenez with that big time upper 90s fastball. He can be dominating. Mike Lowell on deck and the 0-1. That's a strike. Went back with that slider, and it's 0-2.
Started him off with a curveball and then tightened it up. The slider is just a little harder breaking ball. But what's impressive to me, Obi, is he's throwing everything for strikes now.
Popped him up. That one ran right in on the knuckles. Atkins underneath. The third baseman makes the catch. Another easy out recorded by Ubaldo Jimenez.
Frustrating. You know what, Manny? All you can do there is tip your hat. I think that's what he did by just spinning the bat. It's pretty impressive, kid. You get Manny and Big Papi out back to back like he's done, keeping both of them in the infield. Papi didn't even make contact.
Ball one on Mike Lowell. Yeah, Ortiz, Ramirez, and Lowell 0 for 5 and haven't hit anything out of the infield in the first 3 and 1/3 innings. And Jimenez has been down this road before as Lowell takes one outside. He wound up pitching in a must-win situation in his final start of the regular season, September 30th against Arizona. The Rockies had to win that game to keep their playoff hopes alive, and he no-hit Arizona for 5 1/3 innings. He wound up with 10 strikeouts in that outing. Well, that one running in again on Mike Lowell to tie him up.
You know, and he went deep into that ball game. He got one out in the 7th inning, which, you know, that's going to be a tough decision for manager Clint Hurdle right now. Be a tough bruise there. Well, that got him on the knee and the shin.
I mean, he's already done this to 3 hitters. He got J.D. Drew to foul one off his foot. He got Youkilis to foul one off his foot. Now Mike Lowell. Look at movement there. Late movement on that. It's 2-1 on Mike Lowell. Now 3 balls, 1 strike. Lowell had a fine time of it at Fenway all summer long. He hit .373 here. 3rd best in the American League in his own building. Trying to hold up the appeal. No swing. It's ball 4. Ted Barrett said he held it, and so the 3rd walk of the last 2 innings goes into the books for Jimenez as he's starting to lose his command.
Here's that control problem that really was worse for him early in the year when he was in AAA. See there, he's not allowed to hit as of yet, but there have been opportunities to score with those 3 walks and then the hit batsman with J.D. Drew.
Drew hung in there, although for a while it looked like he might have to come out. He cranks that one into right field for a base hit. Lowell takes the turn. He's heading for 3rd. Hop with the throw to 3rd. The tag safe. Down to 2nd moves Drew. And apparently J.D. Drew's leg is just fine as he tears into one. Hop uncorked a long, long throw.
Well, both of them are dealing with sore legs right now. J.D. Drew got drilled and Lowell hit that ball off his back knee, but both of them healthy enough to stretch it to that extra base. Well, that's a tremendous job. That's a strong throw right on the money, but Lowell doing everything he can. Look at the head first dive, trying to make the sweep tag there is Atkins, and right behind that is J.D. Drew coming in to 2nd as the possible go-ahead run.
That, the first hit of the night for the Red Sox, gets Mike Lowell barely down to 3rd base. Boy, Hop really uncorked the beauty. But it's 2nd and 3rd for Boston. And here's Jason Varitek. Colorado leading 1-0. There's a swing and a drive to center field. Tavares back into that triangle almost to make the catch. Mike Lowell can tag up and score. Down to 3rd moves J.D. Drew, and the Red Sox get on the scoreboard. It is 1-1.
Finally, one of those walks coming back to haunt Ubaldo Jimenez. But how about this, talking about the run being set up by the speed of Mike Lowell. That doesn't happen very often, but here it is. There's a base hit. He gets a good read right off the bat. And now he continues to watch the ball. And when he sees how deep Hop comes up with that ball, even knowing he had the strong arm, he said, this is a spot right here where I can take a chance. Look at Youkilis laughing at him right there. They're laughing, but that was big.
Drew at third base. Now the Red Sox trying to take the lead on the bat of the rookie, Jacoby Ellsbury, who is 0 for 1. The Red Sox previous 3 games, they've been scoring like it's going out of style. 12 runs, 11 runs, 13 runs. Finally, Mike Lowell with the first run of game 2, and that ties it in the 4th. Fouled back by Ellsbury. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Red Sox finally with a hit as Drew comes through, and now he can touch home on a base hit by Ellsbury. 2 down. The 1-1 from Jimenez. Upstairs. Mike Lowell still hearing about his wheels. That play was awfully close at third, you know. Mike telling the story of how his quickness got him down there.
Well, I think he's also telling Mirabelli, I can outrun you.
2-1 just outside. Good eye by Ellsbury. It was the curveball that sat up a little high and wide.
You know, and I noticed earlier tonight in batting practice, the batting practice pitchers were talking about how cold it was, how tough it was to grip the baseball. Boy, look at that effort, sliding to the outside part of that third base bag to make that happen.
Down and in for ball 4. Ellsbury is aboard. 4 walks now for Jimenez. Bob Apodaca wants a word with his 23-year-old flamethrower.
Well, it seems like things are starting to go a little bit faster for the 23-year-old. And that's a long, slow walk by the pitching coach, Bob Apodaca, trying to let his kid get that breathing pattern back in order. This is that atmosphere that's been so electric here. Ballpark always full, people enjoying their team. And you know what? The players, when they came back from Cleveland, they let these fans know, hey, we need you more than ever. And credit to the fans, they responded.
Yeah, right.
Great universities here, boy.
Oh, it is a wonderful college town. Boston University, Boston College, Northeastern, many others. First 2 innings, 19 pitches, laboring the last 2.
Well, that's really the only problem with this kid. And you know what? It's going to be a problem when, you know, you're on that fast track to the big leagues as he has been.
In 2 games now, the Red Sox have accepted 12 walks. There's also been a hit batsman. So the Red Sox don't have to do it with swings. First and third. Here's Lugo trying to make his postseason contribution here in Game 2 of the World Series. He takes a strike. He was 3 for 4 last night. Now before tonight, Lugo was the only Red Sox hitter to have faced Jimenez, and he was 1 for 1 off him. Now you're seeing the Red Sox with better at bats the second time through against the right-hander. There goes Ellsbury swinging a ground ball, foul off the third base line, emphatically called by Mike Everett. No, 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 he says, and I think he got the call right.
Well, he's right there on top of it. He's got the best view of this of anybody in the ballpark. I think he got it right. All it had to do was go over a corner of that base, and it would have been fair, and this game might have been broken open.
That's right. A ground ball can actually go over the bag and land in foul territory when it crosses the base, but it's still ruled a fair ball. This one never got there, according to Everett.
Well, that's just a matter of inches for at least 4 runs for Boston. You think about Big Poppy's drive down that right field line.
Ellsbury had been running on that pitch by Jimenez. We'll see what he's up to here. 2 strikes on the batter. He takes off. Check swing. No throw by Toriyama. No one even covering second base. A stolen base for Jacoby Ellsbury. Now a single will bring in 2 runs. And over his head. And Jimenez wild here in the 4th inning.
This is a breaking ball here that he had so much success with earlier in the ball game. Just not able to get the grip. It was cool early, and you know it's doing nothing but getting colder. The young man trying to figure out how to get this pitch closer to home plate.
Lugo with pretty good power if Jimenez pipes one here. For a number 9 hitter, he can be dangerous. The 2-2 pitch. Outside and a full count. Pedroia on deck. And suddenly a look of concern in the eyes of Ubaldo Jimenez, who was so confident in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, 5 of the last 8 guys for the Red Sox have reached base, but up till now, still only 1 has scored.
Now the count on Lugo was 0-2. Ellsbury at second, Drew at third, 2 down. A run in for Boston. They have tied it against Hurdle's Rockies. Little number toward first. Helton to charge. He's got it, and the side is retired. The Red Sox get 1, and that's all. Although Jimenez walked 2 in the inning. We are tied up in World Series Game 2. The Rockies won, and the Red Sox won, going to the 5th. Ready for Game 3 of the 103rd World Series. Our coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight GMT, live from Coors Field. The Red Sox will be pitching Daisuke Matsuzaka. Josh Fogg will throw for the Rockies.
Aikman's a Red Sox fan. I did not know that.
Yep. He's in all likelihood in town to work the Patriots game against the Redskins coming up this weekend. Tulowitzki to lead things off here as we bring you to 5th inning. Curt Schilling has surrendered 3 hits. He hit the first batter he faced tonight. He came in to score. Rockies haven't gotten anything off him since.
One thing we do know, that Red Sox nation continues to grow. Take a look at the pitch count here. Look at the struggle Curt Schilling had in that first inning. A couple of guys on base, but he was able to wiggle free, and he's been really good since.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's been the opposite of Jimenez, who started to scuffle as the evening has progressed. Tulowitzki had 2 doubles last night. 1 and 2 the count. He had been chilly in Colorado's playoff run, hitting just .179 with 10 strikeouts in 7 games. He said, quite frankly, I have been awful. Last night he was okay. The 1-2 downstairs to even the count. And Schilling with one of his better fastballs of the night in terms of velocity there.
Yeah.
But he didn't get the strike. Tulowitzki will strike out 130 times during the season. He rolls that one foul.
A little different story for Boston Red Sox when you think about back in June when the Rockies came to town and how they had their way with Beckett and Curt Schilling. This is October. You don't knock that man around. this time of year.
Everything's different in October, isn't it? Here comes the 2-2. Missed, and the count 3-2. A little grimace there from Schilling. He wanted that strike.
Well, he wanted it because he wants to get this leadoff man out in the worst way. He missed just off that corner. Keeps him in the windup, and it seems like, OB, that the velocity on his fastball is 3 or 4 miles an hour better when he's in the windup.
His payoff pitch, and low for ball 4. So for the 4th time in 5 innings, Colorado has the leadoff man on against Curt Schilling.
Well, you wonder now if maybe Clint Hurdle might try to manage a little bit. You're at the bottom part of the order. We thought he might do something with Torrealba. The last time he was up, he didn't send the runner, and the catcher hit into the double play.
Only the second walk of the playoffs issued by Schilling, who is notoriously stingy with ball 4. And here is Jorvi Torrealba. He bounced into a 6-3 double play in the second inning. They're tied up 1-1 in the 5th. Red Sox leading 1-0. A bunt. Lowell says he has it. Gets the out at first. Euclid covering down to second. Moves Tulowitzki. So play on indeed for Clint Hurdle. It's a bunt.
Well, staying out of that double play. And the last time when we were looking for the hit and run, there was 1 out. So you're not going to sacrifice bunt in that situation. But he did here. Lowell coming in with plenty of time to get the catcher. Now you've got a guy up here that's your designated hitter. You felt like he had a chance to swing the bat tonight. And then you get back to the top of the order.
Ryan Spilborgh's now trying to put Colorado back in the lead. He struck out looking in the 3rd inning. Tulowitzki in scoring territory with 1 away. Spilborgh's a designated hitter. He takes the first one, a strike on the inside corner. Our pals at Hank's Sports Bar and Grill in China are weighing in tonight, Rick. Dave and Rick was at Halloween yesterday because it sure was scary for the Rockies and their fans. Half and half here at Hank's, some crying, others cheering.
I think there were some people that snuck into that Rockies clubhouse and put on some of those guys' uniform, particularly the one worn by Jeff Francis. That's not what we've seen out of him so far, or what we'll see if he gets another chance.
On the topic of scary, how about Stephen King and a full moon?
I got you, partner. Don't worry about it.
2 strikes on Schilling. Schilling has on Spilborghs with a man at second. And 1 man gone. Fouled back. Good rip by the number 9 hitter. Well, the question from Hank is, what did the Rockies manager say in the locker room after the game yesterday and before tonight? Because this is the first appearance for the World Series for Colorado. Does that explain their performance? And can they adjust?
You know what he talked about? We're a no-excuse team. We're not going to use the layoff or the rust as a reason for the loss. They just beat us. They took it to us. He said, we'll show up tonight.
Well, they have, but that's on the inside corner for strike 3. Spilborghs for the 2nd time admires a strike from Schilling. And that's a big out number 2 with a man at second.
This is the best fastball we've seen tonight from Curt Schilling. Not only in terms of velocity, but look at the glove. We talked about that being a key for Curt Schilling. The reason he struggled earlier against this team, when they had their way and beat him in June, the glove of Veritek was going all over the place. Now if it's doing anything, it's just going down.
Here's Tavares swinging the first pitch, a routine ground ball at Lugo, and he gets it. And Schilling, who walked the first man he faced in this inning, gets out of it without a run. Tavares grounds out on 1 pitch, and we are still tied 1-1 halfway through at Fenway.
ESPN.
Hey, a big welcome to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 176 countries and territories, watching Major League Baseball International on AFN, American Forces Network. We certainly hope you're enjoying the World Series in Kuwait, Belgium, Greece, Sri Lanka, Spain, Italy, and South Africa. Thanks so much for everything you do for us. Bottom half of the 5th inning, Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien alongside, and Ubaldo Jimenez. Well, they walked a couple of men, finally gave up a hit in the 4th inning. Only surrendered the 1 run. He got out of any further damage by getting Lugo to ground out. Up in the monster seats, everyone warding off the chill as Pedroia takes a strike. He hit one up there last night.
You're talking to Hank right now, aren't you, about the monster, more scary things?
You know, it's a theme. It is October after all.
Late October.
Great night for hot chocolate. Inside, Pedroia has flied to left and taken ball 4. Colorado scored first tonight. They have not lost a postseason game when scoring first, nor have the Red Sox. Pedroia coming off a 1-for-5 game in game 1. That's in tight. Jimenez is not the least bit bashful about running it inside to those right-hand hitters.
Yeah, and I was talking to the coaching staff of the Rockies before the game about that, and it's not wild. This kid has no fear. He likes to move people off that plate and will anytime you ask him to do it.
The wind and the 2-2. Little ground ball to third. Give me a tough chance here for Atkins as he throws on the run and got him. Beautifully done by Atkins as he moved around that ball to take a better angle on it on the foul side of that line and then made a perfect throw to first.
You know, he did the same thing last night to end the 1st inning on that ground ball by Lugo. He threw the little in-between hop because he knew he had a gold glove over there at first base. Look at the stretch by Todd Helton. That's going to be a close play, and it's going to really be close if Helton doesn't get out there as far as he did. Look at him. You just think down when you're off. You got to hurry it. You got to off-balance throw. That was a tremendous play there. You can see why they were so good defensively this year.
Well, they were the best. 1 strike on Youkilis, who's flied out and taken ball 4. And that went right by everybody. Ortiz on deck. Totally different kind of ball game tonight than we had just 24 hours ago. And the Red Sox ran silly over Colorado. Francis said, I wasn't off. They're just really hot. Well, tonight, Jimenez has cooled the Red Sox bats so far to the tune of 1 hit.
Well, and obviously the reason he's done that, OB, he's pitching in. And that's something that Francis did not do all night long.
The 2-1. Now 3 balls and a strike. Too far in there. 1 out for Boston. What a playoff run for this fella. You see the Sox, Red Sox logo as it is mowed into the diamond. 3-2 on Youkilis.
People might wonder, why is it important to pitch in? Well, I think right there was a pretty good indication. You made him move his feet on the 2-1 pitch, and then 3-1, you throw one right down the middle, and he doesn't swing at it.
He swings at this one, slicing line drive into the alley, and a nice play by Tavares. Youkilis frustrated. A couple of times he's hit the ball well tonight, but nothing to show for that because the speedy Tavares can cover the ground.
Well, and that's why he was added before the league championship series, because he can go get the baseball. I know he made a huge play in that series and what would have been the tie-in run. A ball that was hit by Tony Clark with the Diamondbacks. Same kind of result is what happened there for Youkilis.
So bases empty, 2 down. 4 times in 5 innings, Jimenez has retired the first 2 batters of the inning. Red Sox not mounting a whole lot offensively. Ortiz 0 for 2. He takes ball 1. Scuffling a little with the letters, aren't they?
You got to pull your hands out.
Strike on the let-up pitch. Good curve. 1-1.
And Ubaldo was struggling with that curveball in the last inning. He walked a couple of guys, couldn't find a release point. A cool night. Able to find it there, though.
Fastball inside under the hands. You can really hear his fastball pop the mitt. He's thrown a good slider and a curve tonight.
It's got that sound of a fastball, doesn't it?
The 2-1 to Ortiz. He's taking ball 3. Manny Ramirez hoping to hit here in the 5th inning for Boston. We're tied up 1-1 in game 2. Red Sox winning last night 13-1. Will Jimenez challenge Ortiz with a fastball here on 3-1? Did not. He went with a curveball and it's fouled away.
Boy, and he fooled Big Papi. David Ortiz way out in front of that pitch. He too thought the young guy doesn't want to walk me. Manny's on deck. And it's that big curveball again. Boy, that was a gutsy call there on the part of Torrealba. I think he's really taken control of the pitch selection. And that's the reason he's out here on the mound right now talking with his young right-hander. Manny Ramirez in the on-deck circle has not gotten the ball out of the infield yet. But another thing that he's not done, OB, is hit with anybody on base. He has led off both of his at-bats tonight because Big Papi has made the final out of the inning.
The 3-2 moved him back, and it's ball 4. So Jimenez has walked 5 men tonight. Only one has scored. Ramirez coming up. And this copyrighted telecast is the property of the Office of the Commissioner of Major League Baseball. It's intended for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publications, reproductions, retransmissions, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. As Rick mentioned, Ramirez has been a relatively easy out twice. He has grounded to third and popped out to third. First time tonight he's not leading off an inning. Ramirez having a tremendous postseason run. The crowd starts to chant for him. Ball 1.
Velocity starting to go down, and as we expected, the command starting to get away from the young kid. Yeah, you need to get somebody up down there. This, even if he gets out of it, could be his last inning.
Bullpen stirring now for Colorado. Jeremy Affeldt, the first man to start to warm up down there. They'll get the lefty going. Manny Ramirez went for the home run swing. Trying to knock that one over the monster seats. It's 1-1.
Did have a big swing here. Coming back with that good hard slider. Manny just not able to pick up that rotation. When you see the left-hander up in the bullpen, that tells you that right now Clint Hurdle's plan is to let Ubaldo at least pitch to Mike Lowell in the on-deck circle, the next right-handed hitter.
The 1-1. Now 1-2. Ramirez has never faced Jimenez before tonight. He is not picking him up terribly well. Matt Hergis now starting to throw alongside Affeldt out there. Manny Ramirez has seen 8 pitches. Jimenez has thrown him 7 strikes. Foul back, just a piece. Manny's always been one of those hitters, though, Rick, who requires multiple at-bats. And then once he figures out a guy, it could be over for that guy.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Dave Magadan, the hitting coach, was talking before the game during batting practice about how Manny reminds him a lot of Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn talking about you've got to know your swing, which he did for 3,000 hits and which Manny Ramirez has done for some amazing things.
Hard hit under the glove of Atkins, who dove and missed it. Ortiz into second. Maybe Ramirez has finally figured out Jimenez in the third at bat. And the Red Sox have 2 on with 2 out, and their top RBI man all season, Mike Lowell, coming up.
Well, I think you're right. I think the last 2 pitches, Manny had the best 2 swings that he's had. That ball in, probably a mistake from the young kid wanting to go down and away, just out of the reach at Atkins at third base. But here it is again, another opportunity for the Red Sox to score some runs.
Lowell was the only Red Sox starter who didn't drive in a run last night. He has a chance here in the 5th inning of game 2. Ortiz at second. Ball 1.
Well, each inning offensively, Boston's gotten better. In the first inning, 3 guys came to home plate. Second, 4. Third, 5. In the 4th inning, they finally got a run when 6 guys came to home plate. And they're at it again here in the 5th inning.
Well, they do have 8 base runners tonight. 6 of them with 2 out. 2 on, 2 out here. 2-0. It's been tough when he's had to be. And he has to be right now. A 1-1 game. Ortiz at second, Ramirez at first.
Well, if he walks slow, though, a tough decision for manager Clint Hurdle.
He has the lefty going. Drew is on deck. That's a strike.
If you remember right, J.D. Drew in his last at bat hit the ball really hard into the gap, allowing Mike Lowell to get to third base and eventually score the tying run.
Lowell only drove in 4 runs in the league championship series, and the Red Sox scored a ton of runs. He wasn't much part of that. They are going to need him in the World Series at some point. And his first moment might be right now. Jimenez with a 2-1 to Lowell. Swing and a line drive down into the corner. Ortiz will score. It bounces up against the Green Monster. Ramirez into second, into third. The throw comes into third base, and he gets back. And the Red Sox have taken the 2-1 lead.
Finally got to him. Where with 2 outs and him giving away all of the free passes, Boston was able to score some runs. Good breaking ball, just trying to throw it for a strike. Lowell sitting right on top of that. Hits it hard down into the corner. Manny Ramirez going as hard as he could trying to score, but Holiday coming up with that ball. And you know, they already know about the arm of Tulowitzki. No chance of scoring him once that ball got into his hands.
And Manny had to scamper back. Well, a pitching change that will do it for Jimenez. Was so impressive early. The Red Sox starting to reach him, and they've got to make a move in Colorado.
Well, I was really impressed with him and his stuff. You can see why they're excited about his future. You've got to bring the left-hander in here, though, to face J.D. Drew. He hit the ball hard the last time, and Drew, for the most part down the stretch, kind of became a platoon player because of the .224 average against left-handed pitching this year.
He's hot right now, though. He's hit in 8 straight postseason games. A double, and he's been hit by a pitch tonight. Ramirez and Lowell on base. The Red Sox have taken a 2-1 lead here in game 2. And they're 2 down. As the pitches bounce to the plate. Nice stop by Torrealba. That saved a run.
That's a really nice stop right there. You were worried about the pressure getting to the 23-year-old. I think it got more so to the veteran there on his first pitch. Torrealba saying, hey, let's slow down here a little bit. I felt with good velocity on that fastball, particularly for a left-hander, and a big devastating curveball when he can get it over.
Outside, keeping it away from J.D. Drew. Jimenez can only watch now. But the fifth inning's been good to the Red Sox. That's 7 of those runs last night in the fifth inning.
They take the lead here tonight in the fifth inning. Trying to get more.
It's been a much different J.D. Drew here in the key moments of the playoffs and down the stretch in September. He's been more aggressive. They have implored him to be more aggressive and not take as many strikes.
Well, he's shown some passion too. I mean, the fist pump, and I think I saw his teeth. I think I saw him smile after that grand slam homer.
Felt really taking his time now. Picks out a sign from Torrealba and the 2-1. Missed badly. Veritek on deck. He's a switch hitter.
Well, and he's had some success against Affelt before too. Affelt used to be with the Kansas City Royals, an American League team. They hooked up a few times, so much so that the captain was 3 for 5 off of him. So Affelt wants to throw a strike here.
Drew has driven in 11 runs in 11 postseason games. He has caught fire at the right time. The 3-1. A strike on the outside corner. The count fills up.
Got a base open. Didn't want to give in. And it's really the only thing that he's thrown for a strike thus far in this at bat.
Affelt with a 3-2. Outside, he missed ball 4. Red Sox have collected 6 walks, all of those over the last 3 innings. This one loads the bases for Jason Veritek. Only issued 25 walks, Terry Francona's Red Sox, and they have received 61. So the base is all filled up here. Here comes Clint Hurdle. The bullpen gate is open. He's going to make a move right now. So we have a pitching change. Affelt faces one batter and he walks him.
Join us for the MLB postseason party this October on NASN. We've got live coverage of the Divisional Series, the AL and NL Championship Series, and every game of the World Series live. Check NASN.com for scheduling and information.
You must take the A train.
People who brought you College Game Day and the worldwide leader in sports comes the biggest thing to hit college football in years. College Football Live. A new way to get your fix every weekday with breaking news, exclusive interviews, and packed full of previews and predictions. Get ahead of the game every weekday with College Football Live on NASN.
Rockies have to go to their third pitcher of the inning and bring on the veteran Matt Herges here, trying to get that last out. 5 appearances in the postseason for Herges has been awfully good.
Well, one of those strikeouts was last night against Jason Varitek. He came on, he got him on a 3-2 changeup. Varitek with a second look at the veteran reliever. Clint Hurdle bringing him in because, for the most part, he throws strikes, which is what you need now.
Ramirez, Lowell, and J.D. Drew filling up the bases for Boston. No place to put Varitek. One of the things that Clint Hurdle pointed to in last night's 13-1 loss, he said, we had a horrible time getting that last out to keep the inning from getting out of control. Can Herges get the last out here and keep it close for Colorado? Outside ball 1. Varitek has struck out. He's also driven in a run with a sacrifice fly. 7 bases loaded walks for the Red Sox, including 3 in a row last night. That's a record.
They have a really good idea of what they want to do offensively, and that game plan put together by hitting coach Dave Magadan.
Fouled back. A good rip by Varitek. 1 ball and 1 strike. And coming into tonight, his last 2 postseason games, he was 5 for 9 with 3 doubles. He's added another RBI tonight.
I'd have to say Herges' best pitch right now is that changeup.
Varitek swings that leg out of the batter's box. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out. Bases loaded for the Red Sox in the 5th.
You see the captain taking that deep breath, trying to slow things down. Even veteran players have to do that from time to time. I wonder if Herges will slow down the velocity of this pitch.
2-1. This Red Sox offense, which has been tearing the cover off the ball for 4 straight playoff games, has been slowed a bit tonight. Just 3 hits. This would be a giant hit for Varitek. He comes up with it now. The base is jammed. High pop up into left, right at Holiday practically. He is there, and Herges does his job. He comes out with the bases loaded and gets Varitek. That was a 24-minute inning, and the Red Sox leave them loaded, but they also get the go-ahead run. 2-1 Boston. It's always on. We want to hear from you, so here is the U.S. email. TV questions at website.mlb.com right there on your screen. Underneath Curt Schilling, who's only thrown 66 pitches.
Yeah, but it's been a while since he's thrown a pitch. A long inning there on the bottom of the 5th, and the Red Sox only able to come up with 1 run there. Well, he's done a terrific job. No crooked numbers there.
It's one of your keys, Rick. Stay away from the crooked numbers.
Well, and they've been able to control Kevin Youkilis too. But there's still a lot to be told about this game.
6th inning, Matsui showing bunt to draw in the third baseman Lowell, and then he takes a strike. He's gone 0 for 2 with a fly out and a strikeout. He'll be followed by Holiday and then Helton.
Matsui's such a smart player. Even if he didn't want to bunt there, by doing that, you bring the infield in. And now with his speed, you hit a ball on the ground, it's got a better shot of getting by somebody.
Lowell having to play before the cut of that grass.
There's nowhere he can go. When that ball's hit to him, all he can do is just try to catch it at him.
1-2. The Rockies leading off an inning. In the first 5 innings, 4 times that leadoff man has reached base. And he did score in the first inning. But Tavares.
They're singles and they're hit by pitch and they're walks. They're not driving the ball like this team is capable of doing.
Schilling turns on the rubber in the 1-2. Fouled off of the umpire. Laz Diaz had his bell rung.
It staggered him a little bit too.
You hear what he said? He said, "Now I'm awake."
Oh, they'll yell at him from time to time. Hey, wake up, ump! Look at that. Knocked him back on his heels a little bit.
You're right in the line of fire back there. The 1-2 had drifted on Schilling. 71 pitches for the right-hander. He did sit for 27 innings in between, 27 minutes in between innings. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Nobody out. Popped him up. Right at second base. In fact, Lugo hops over the bag to make the catch. 1 down in the 6th.
He may not throw as hard as he once did, but he still has a really good idea of where it's going to go. They've got Matsui figured out right now. Good low ball hitter, as a lot of left-handers are. Of course, he's a switch hitter, but against Curt Schilling, going to swing from the left side. They're just pounding that fastball belt high and above, trying to keep him from hitting the ball on the ground.
Holiday with a good night going. He's 2 for 2. Well, since the leadoff man Brad Hopp reached base with his single in the 2nd inning, Schilling has only allowed 1 hit. That was Holiday's 4th inning single. As you point out, Rick, nothing but singles. And another one for Holiday, who is 3 for 3. A 1-out base hit in the 6th.
That's huge for him right there. Not only to get his bat going and the confidence for him going when they head back to Denver, but setting up a situation that Schilling wanted to stay away from. Good pitch down outside corner, but that's a big, strong man that has had a terrific offensive year. The situation I was talking about Schilling did not want to see is Todd Helton at home plate with a chance to give the Rockies the lead.
Helton went after the first pitch that he saw from Schilling in the 4th inning. And he wound up flying to center field. He was the first of 3 consecutive Colorado hitters who did that. Who went after the first pitch, and they all made outs. He lets this one go for a strike. Red Sox trying to take a commanding 2-0 lead. They have a 2-1 lead in this game. And a vastly different ball game than last night. John Farrell there, the pitching coach of the Red Sox, keeping a close watch on the veteran. The 0-1 is off the corner to make it 1 ball, 1 strike.
Helton taking that first pitch fastball, OB, almost like he's sitting on something off speed right now. A lot of changeup and split-fingered fastballs from Schilling these days.
Red Sox getting activity in the bullpen. The 1-1 from Helton to Helton is in there for a strike.
No question about it. He was guessing throughout this at bat, obviously until you get to 2 strikes.
Okajima, the left-hander. Del Carmen warming up beside him. Certainly has been more pop on the fastball for Schilling the last 3 innings or so. 2-2. Helton, such a good hitter for so long. As you look at Garrett Atkins in the on-deck area, won the batting title in 2000, hitting .372. He hit 42 home runs that year, and then 47 the next. He's not the home run hitter that he once was. He hit just 17 this year, but you do have to respect that power. He fouls that one away.
And even when he doesn't hit for that power, OB, he's always been one of those on-base percentage type guys. And I think that's the biggest reason that he's right there in the heart of the order hitting cleanup. They've got more power. There's guys that have a lot more power than him, but you've got him there because he works the count. He's going to get on base, and you also split up the two big right-handed hitters that are in front of him and behind him.
Holiday at first base, one man out. Helton is a double play candidate. 3-2. Atkins keeping a close eye, as well as Farrell on the same man.
Well, I think you have to send him. I mean, if this was Curt Schilling 5 years ago, maybe not, because you worry about the strikeout, throw him out, ending the inning. I don't think you can worry about him getting a fastball by Helton.
It's one of the first key Colorado Rockies at bats in the series. 3-2 pitch. Runner goes. Fouled away. And will twist off into the stands. Helton, who almost made Fenway Park his full-time residence. Nearly traded here back in the spring. He was asked about it over a period of about 3 or 4 days. Do you want to go to Boston? He said, I would rather stay and win in Colorado. But it's a great place to play. It's a great baseball town. He wound up staying with the Rockies. And wouldn't you know it, wound up in the World Series against Boston.
I think if most people were honest with you and asked if they wanted to play for the Red Sox, they'd say yes. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, he did in a manner of speaking, but he said it correctly politically.
Place is packed every night. A chance to win every year.
3-2. Holiday takes off, and it's up and away for ball 4. So this a rarity. Curt Schilling walks his second man in the game. And they're first and second on board for Colorado with one out.
Well, just like what you're talking about, Terry Francona paying attention, and he's got to go to the bullpen when Curt Schilling starts having trouble throwing strikes.
Okajima, who seldom enters a game this early, he's going to come out of that bullpen, a left-hander, and that will do it for Curt Schilling. It's possible that this could be the last time he walks off the mound at Fenway Park.
Well, these fans are so smart. OB, they know that too, and they're going to let him hear it right now.
Schilling has meant so much to the Red Sox and Red Sox Nation after that gallant performance in 2004 to the playoffs and the bloody sock and the World Series ring that he was hugely responsible for, and breaking the curse of 86 years. They will never forget him here. Tonight winds up going 5 1/3 innings in Game 2 of the World Series. And he is in line for the victory at this point.
He's also in line for the loss.
And runners at first and second. Now both of those runners belong to him. There's his pitching line to this point as Okajima warms up.
Well, he's handing over a lead, though, to Okajima, and he has been terrific. Curt Schilling, you don't see him walk two people very often, but you got to understand, one of those walks was Todd Helton, who, I mean, he's had his way off of Curt Schilling over the years. He was real careful. A battle between two great players for the last decade. That time won by Helton. Now as a starting pitcher, you just sit back and hope that your bullpen guy help you out.
Okajima, the left-hander from Japan, in 7 1/3 innings, has struck out 5 in this postseason of 07.
You know, Terry Francona doing it a little bit different here in the top of the 6th than what Clint Hurdle did in the bottom of the 5th. Hurdle went and got his left-hander for the left-hander, and when he didn't get him out, you know, he went back and got the right-hander for the switch hitter. He basically lost 2 guys there. Terry Francona, because of the changeup of Okajima, saying, you know what, I think he can get the right-hander and the left-hander. I'll be able to stick with him for the next 2 hitters.
Okajima all warmed up. A single and a walk. Holiday and Helton are on. This is exactly what the Red Sox need from Okajima. He's been so good at stranding base runners. Atkins tonight is grounded out and flied out to left.
You know, so many times numbers really don't mean a whole lot. They don't tell the whole story, but those numbers right there with Okajima tell a lot about his year, because he only pitches in games that they have a shot to win in.
Okajima with a fantastic regular season. He did tire a little bit down the stretch. The Red Sox took the opportunity to rest him. They knew they were going to the postseason anyway. And that really energized him for the playoff run. First pitch he threw in the majors this year was hit out of the ballpark in Kansas City. After that, he was golden. He delivers inside for ball 1. I do not think it's possible that a major league hitter can drive in 120 runs in 2006, 111 this year, and do it as anonymously as Garrett Atkins has. No all-star selections, no national publicity virtually. He's been a big RBI force for 2 years for the Rockies. He took a swing. 1 ball and 1 strike. He was trying to lift that one right up and over the green monster.
Well, it's just been so long since you've heard about anything with the Colorado Rockies. You knew Helton was there, but their lone all-star this year was that man, Matt Holliday. If he wins that MVP award, which most people think he will, you'll get to know a lot more about him and his team.
Man on deck, Brad Hopp, is another guy who drove in a bunch of runs, 116. And no one really talks about him. They might be by the end of this series.
I think the most impressive part about Hopp's RBIs were what he did with 2 outs, which what could be the situation.
Holiday at second, Helton at first, 1 away. Red Sox leading it 2-1. Schilling on the bench. They're in the 6th inning. Okajima fires. Inside, 2-1. This fastball will not be much harder than 88, but he can throw it in a teacup from 60 feet 6 inches. By this point last night, the game had turned into a yawner. Not tonight. Game 2 entirely different. Ground ball, weakly hit. Youkilis had to wait on it. He'll get to first base in time. Holiday moves down to third and Helton into second. Now they're 2 away.
Here comes that spot we were talking about, though, where this guy was so good for the Rockies this year. Brad Hopp had 66 RBIs with 2 outs. Only Alex Rodriguez had more in all of baseball this season.
.377 with 2 outs and men in scoring position. Exactly the spot he finds himself in here in game 2.
There's some pretty good numbers going right now. Okajima with runners left stranded that he inherited.
I'm trying to hold up. That's a strike. As Diaz rings him up, 0-1.
Well, he tried to hold up, and Jason Varitek did a great job keeping Matt Holliday held up. Looking fastball, kind of cheating, guessing.
A base hit can put Colorado in the lead. They chant for Oki, for Okajima. on the corner for a strike. 0-2. Big part of his success this year, he treats right-hand hitters and left-hand hitters equally. He gets them both out.
Here's a big part of the Red Sox success year in, year out. This crowd getting loud.
Okajima says yes, and the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Okajima holds again. Schilling, the first man up on the top step to greet him. Hideki Okajima golden all season long for Boston. Strikes out Brad Hopp. And the Red Sox still lead it 2-1. Time for our game recap now. It was Colorado scoring the first run in the first inning off Schilling. Tavares reaching on a hit by pitch to start the game. Later he'll score on a ground out by Todd Helton. Helton with the RBI, 1-0 Rockies. Then it became the Mike Lowell show. Fouls that ball off his foot. He winds up going first to third on a J.D. Drew double. Very close play there at third base, but Lowell dives in safe. And then he scores on Veritek's sacrifice fly in the fourth inning. That tied the game. Mike Lowell then doubling to put them ahead in the fifth inning. That shot down the line will send in Ortiz, and the Red Sox have a 2-1 lead. Now to the bottom half of the sixth inning. Kobe Ellsbury has grounded out and taken ball 4. So 12 of the 15 runs the Red Sox have scored already have come with 2 out. 17 strikeouts in 15 innings for the Red Sox pitching staff.
But look at that number down there at the bottom. The rest of the lineup 1 for 17.
Up the middle on a base hit to the speedy Ellsbury, who has already stolen a base tonight. Red Sox looking for a little bit of wiggle room here in the sixth. Have the leadoff man aboard.
But I don't look for a stolen base attempt in this situation. Burgess real quick to home plate, and Torey Alba can really throw to second. And I know Ellsbury can fly down there, but I think you take the bat out of Lugo's hand here, you get the sacrifice bunt, and turn it back over.
Ellsbury perfect on the bases in the regular season and the playoffs. He has not been caught stealing. But Lugo is a pretty good bunter. 0 for 2 tonight. Occasionally he has had his issues dropping down bunts. They expect he will. Atkins about to charge from third. Dustin Pedroia on deck. Red Sox in the lead 2-1. Trying to carry a 2-0 lead on to Denver. Tomorrow a travel day. No baseball tomorrow. Lugo pulls it back and takes ball 1.
All right, now I might manage a little bit. He's falling behind. He's going to throw a fastball. I've got speed. I can get a pretty good jump at first for a hit and run. Question Terry Francona has, though, can I trust my shortstop to make contact?
The 1-0 to Lugo. He's squaring the bunt. He does get it down. Too hard, maybe? No, Hurgis will go to first.
Oh, it was. Except for the fact that you've been talking about it since the 1st of September. Ellsbury can absolutely fly. This was a horrible bunt. I mean, it's on one big hop right back to the pitcher. There he is. He's got it. He's set to make the throw. Well, wait a minute. How did he get there? Was that the hit and run? Was he running? No. Just look how quick he is. Look at those strides. I mean, that's a forced play. That's an out. They're just going, wow.
Well, he wanted it badly, but when he looked back in the direction of Ellsbury, all he saw was a blur. I think he saw a vapor trail. Boy, he got there in a hurry.
We saw those last night, didn't we, with that flyover?
So the Red Sox have a man at second with 1 gone, and Pedroia the batter. He's 0 for 2. And he's taken a walk tonight. The curveball settles in for a strike.
Burgess came up big in that tiebreaker game that the Rockies had. 3 scoreless innings. That's one thing, but they were the 10th, 11th, and 12th. He needs to do that same thing here for the Rockies. He needs a scoreless inning.
The 0-1 pitch moved him back. Now the Rockies have made a bit of a statement tonight, I think, on the mound, and their willingness to come in and get the Red Sox to move their feet a little bit.
Well, we thought that was by design, too. And they've had some success with it.
Brian Fuentes, the left-hander, throwing in the Colorado pen. Pedroia looking to pick up another RBI. Waved right over the top of that pitch. 1-2.
Burgess remind you a little bit of Jake Westbrook, Cleveland.
A little bit, yep.
He throws that changeup, and he's got the sinking fastball, occasional breaking ball. There's a real good changeup on that outside part of the plate. Westbrook really had the most success of any Cleveland Indians starting pitcher.
Ellsbury at second, 1 gone. Red Sox leading 2-1 in the 6th. Fouled off. Off-speed pitch from Burgess. And with a changeup there, he had Pedroia a little off stride.
I'll tell you what, Theo Epstein told me a funny story before the game about Pedroia. When they drafted him in the 2nd round, they had him up here working out, and then all of a sudden they sent him off to their minor league team to start his pro career. The manager called the front office and said, "Hey, I think you sent us the wrong guy." I mean, he took one look at him, you know, he's 5'9", maybe, 180 pounds, maybe. Well, after they seen him play, they knew he was the right guy.
2-2.
I think that's really the reason they got him in the draft in the 2nd round. His offensive numbers, walks, strikeouts, extra base hits were all right there with the #1 picks. But you looked at him and you said, wait a minute, we can't make a #1 pick out of him. Well,
Little Poppy. Sometimes he swings the bat like the original version, the bigger version.
We might have started that. Terry Francona told us about with the 3-1 count in the LCS. He's standing there by Francona, and Big Poppy said, "Watch this. He thinks he's me." Talking about that big swing.
The 2-2 rocketed foul.
Look at these swings. One man's just a lot bigger and a lot stronger than the other one, but the same kind of effort. So funny. I mean, they pick on him a lot. They call him Pee-wee. But like Terry Francona said, you know what? His teammates can pick on him, but nobody else had better try because they'll protect him.
The 2-2. Still alive, Dustin Pedroia. The man the Boston Red Sox were willing to look a little bit harder at. And beyond size, which in baseball is at times terribly overrated anyway.
Well, and beyond a 182 average after the first month of the season.
Heck, in the league championship series. And then he caught fire in the last 3 games, wound up hitting .400 in the LCS. It's been the pattern of his whole season, which is probably going to win him Rookie of the Year. Ground ball, the runner to move up. Tulowitzki on to first, and down to third moves Jacoby Ellsbury. And Youkilis approaching the plate. 2 down for Boston. Red Sox in front here, 2-1 in Game 2. Rick, you said one of the keys tonight for Colorado was to control Youkilis, to try and cool him off a little bit. He's got a couple of very good swings this evening, but nothing to show. He has flied to center twice.
Yeah, but he's had a lot to show in this postseason. I mean, he came into play tonight hitting over 400.
Right down the heart with a fastball for strike one. 404, 4 homers. He's also scored 13 runs in his last 8 playoff games. So he has been on a ton. Now he's trying to pick up Ellsbury at third. That would make it 3-1 Boston. Out in front, and it's 0-2. Another good changeup there by the right-hander Hergis.
2 outstanding pitches. Painted the outside corner with the fastball in the first one, and that's his best pitch. That changeup there.
Each side with only 4 hits apiece. Pitching has taken over here in game 2. Hergis trying to make sure that continues. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A little added pressure on him at Hergis to make sure he doesn't go too low with it and skip a pitch, because Ellsbury will easily fly home if he does, and it gets by Torrealba.
Well, and pressure to throw strikes to Youkilis. Once again, Big Papi and Manny putting on an October to remember. By design, the Rockies know they've got to go at this guy, but you've also got to figure him out.
2-2. The Rockies got the first run of the night. The Red Sox have gotten the last 2.
That last pitch right there, a lot of times with Hergis, OB is by design. Missing up and away with his best fastball to come back with that changeup, either dropping it in for a strike or below the zone trying to get a swing.
Man at third, 2 out. He let it go, and it's low for ball 3. Youkilis stayed off that change. So the count has gone from 0-2 to 3-2. A typical Red Sox at bat in 2007. You know he does not want to face Ortiz in this inning. Hergis 3-2. Fouled off the catcher. Boy, he will throw that changeup any point in the count.
Such a good pitch for him. I think it's really the reason he's still in the big leagues. He used to be a fastball, big curveball type guy.
Well, LaTroy Hawkins joining Fuentes in that pen.
You got to figure it's Fuentes, don't you? If Youkilis is able to get on or extend this inning somehow.
Yeah, got to bring on the left-hander.
Off day tomorrow for both of these teams. No reason to leave anything down there in the bullpen that you need.
Hergis with the payoff pitch. Pulled wickedly, and that went right over the helmet of the ducking Jacoby Ellsbury. Youkilis right on it. He got the changeup again, but Youkilis, if anything, he was too quick.
Well, he hit it so hard, though, that he might have talked him out of throwing that pitch anymore. That ball was just foul. Everybody getting down. Torrealba going out to the mound saying, hey, we got a couple of bases open here. We realize that, but the problem is, you realize who the next 2 guys are coming up after him if we don't get him?
And it's only the 6th inning. It feels later, doesn't it?
It's been good stuff.
A tense one at Fenway. The 3-2 pitch from Hergis again. Again hit wickedly and foul. Boy, it is not safe to beat Jacoby Ellsbury or DeMarlo Hale with Kevin Youkilis up there. Another hot smash by Youkilis.
Look at that. That thing hit off the rail down the left field line. And it's the catcher that picks it up.
Gonna be lively, youngster. Youkilis' last 3 at bats, 7 pitches, 6 pitches, and now the 9th of this at bat. Once more, the 3-2 from Matt Hergis. And he walked him. Terrific at bat by Kevin Youkilis, who was behind 0-2. But now the right-hander will be taken out of this thing by Clint Hurdle. He has Fuentes, the left-hander, ready for Ortiz. 2 men out. We have a pitching change with the Red Sox leading World Series Game 2, 2-1 in the 6th. Back in a moment. Back at Fenway Park, and so many things are going so well in New England these days. The Red Sox are into the World Series. David Ortiz about to square off against Brian Fuentes here. The Patriots are undefeated. Boston College, the football team, is ranked number 2. In the 4th quarter, they were down 10-0. They have now gone in the last minute of that game up 14-10 against Virginia Tech.
Well, the guy that's up right now for the Rockies is the guy who used to be their closer, an all-star the last 3 years. He did not pitch due to an injury this year, but he now is no longer the closer for the Rockies, but he is their setup type guy. And I'll tell you what, the Red Sox have it set up right now.
Ortiz 0 for 2 with a walk. He checks and it's outside, ball 1. Ramirez on deck. Hawkins working in the bullpen. If it gets that far. The 1-0 from the southpaw. Swinging a fly ball center field is Tavares. They'll make the catch on the warning track. Side retired. A threat for the Red Sox, but they will strand 2. We have completed 6 innings in the 2nd game of the 2007 World Series. Still Boston on top of Colorado 2-1. Rockies coming up in the 7th inning. We give you a look at the Colorado in-game box. A perfect night for Matt Holliday. 3 for 3, all singles so far.
Well, once again, the Rockies not really hitting in the postseason. What they've done is rely on pitching and defense to get to this point, and their pitching and defense have shown up again.
Tulowitzki to lead it off. He has struck out and drawn a walk in this one.
Not only leading it off, OB, but as you well know, he is their leader. This is the guy that sets the tone. He's the guy that a lot of the veterans on this club have followed his lead. As they say, he's got an edge and a desire to win.
In there for a strike. Some of the older guys say, you know, we don't like to say it out loud because he's just a kid. He's just a rookie. But if it's not his clubhouse right now, it's going to be for a long, long time. And he shows a lot of leadership ability.
Well, and those coaches talk about when the way he takes the field, you have to respond.
Just 11 errors all season long for the first-year shortstop. Pops this one up into right field. An easy play for J.D. Drew. Drew, after getting hit by that pitch early on by Jimenez, recovered very nicely. He's contributed with a big hit for Boston. Tulowitzki 0 for 2. The Red Sox playing for a World Series championship. The New England Patriots are perfect. Many are predicting they will finish the season undefeated and go to the Super Bowl again. And Boston College won tonight.
Did they really?
As the number 2 team in the country, Rick, they knocked off number 8 Virginia Tech 14-10 the final in that one, and they could be playing for a national championship. What a time to be a New England sports fan. Across for a strike on Torrealba. He's hit into a double play and dropped down a sacrifice bunt.
He's got some power, though. You have to be careful with the Rockies catcher. 8 home runs on the year. He's already homered in this postseason earlier.
Torrealba, 29-year-old from Venezuela, playing for his third club. He's also played for the Giants and Seattle, too. Always had a very good defensive reputation.
Always had a very good arm.
Okajima looking to zip through the 7th. Of course, the very fresh Jonathan Papelbon, the outstanding Red Sox closer, will start moving around in the next inning or so if it keeps being a 2-1 ball game.
Talking with Jonathan before the game about that parrot thing they got down there.
Their lucky parrot.
He said there were some of the boys that kind of panicked a little bit. He did say one thing. He said that parrot has nothing to do with me throwing 95. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Well, the guy who really took a liking to the lucky parrot was the man on the mound right now, Okajima. A high hopper to Lugo. 2 down. So he was else to see that lucky parrot return to the Red Sox bullpen. It had been swiped in the melee of Game 7 as the Red Sox were celebrating the ALCS title against Cleveland, but it was returned and no questions were asked. A couple of college students brought it back after it spent the night in their freezer in their dorm. Spielborg's 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Base is empty. 2 gone. We'll be keeping it here in between innings for God Bless America. Boys to Men, one of Rick Sutcliffe's favorites, will be performing. James Taylor was terrific again. He also performed the World Series in 2004 for the Red Sox, if memory serves. That went well. It's become tradition. So.
Well, and Yaz throughout the first pitch in 04 of the World Series, as he did again here in 07. Hoping to repeat that.
They like their history here in New England.
There's a lot of it.
Carl Yastrzemski. Wonderful moment for Red Sox fans to see Yaz on the field again last night. That's a strike on Spielborg's. On deck, Willie Taveras.
Good fastball, great changeup, curveball. You know, and you just kind of look at what's happened with the Rockies bullpen, how they burn up both of their left-handers. Will they go to a right-hander with the right-handed hitting Manny Ramirez and Mike Lowell coming up?
2-2.
You don't know. And on the other hand, Terry Francona, with his confidence in Okajima, letting him get right and left-handed hitters out. There's a curveball. Now, I mean, Spielberg's in trouble right now. He struck out twice on called third strikes as a designated hitter.
And he strikes out again, looking for the 3rd time. The Red Sox bullpen in these 2 games has retired all 11 batters faced. Another K for Okajima. Hurdle not thrilled with his last one, but he hit just the spot Veritek had set up. 1, 2, 3 they go. We keep it here for God Bless America. Game 2 of the 2007 World Series. We are in the middle of the 7th inning. The Red Sox on top here, 2-1 over Colorado.
And now to honor America.
Coming up, the Red Sox in-game box now. Pedroia, Youkilis, and Ortiz all hitless, but Manny Ramirez had a key hit in the 5th inning to set up Lowell's go-ahead double.
Well, Lowell's really been the key. He scored the run. He's got the RBI, the base running. Oh, the energy he put out. Just barely beat the throw at third base, led to the first run, and then he drove in the go-ahead run. he too will hit in this inning.
Well, the Red Sox to bring up Ramirez, Lowell, and Drew. As everybody loves Manny in Boston, he is 1 for 3 with a single tonight. Certainly not a typical Manny Ramirez season over the last 5 years. Averaging 39 homers, 117 RBIs. This year, just 20 homers and 88 runs driven in. He said he just never really did feel comfortable at the plate until the postseason started.
He's hot now, just at the right time. Boy, Terry Francona doing a great job setting up his lineup with left, right, the switch hitters, really to force the hand of Clint Hurdle. The spot he's in right now, you've got to leave your left-handed guy in because you don't want to waste him. But here you are in just the 7th inning, and you've got 2 dangerous right-handed hitters coming up. And Fuentes he gave up 6 home runs all year long, all to right-handed hitters.
Fastball missed, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Ramirez.
Those numbers, not much of an average with anybody at home plate, but the power. When he makes a mistake, a right-hander has a better shot of getting him than a left-hander.
This is the 3rd time in the game that Ramirez has led off an inning. Fouled back. So if there was any thought in the Colorado camp that maybe they were going to drill Manny Ramirez to make him feel a little less comfortable or knock him off the plate, leading off an inning 3 times has solved that.
Well, you'd like to move him. They haven't been able to do that. But typical Manny, when he finally got an opportunity to hit with somebody on base, came through with the base hit, setting up the opportunity for Mike Lowell to drive in the run.
The left-hander Fuentes with a 1-2. Up and in. Count even 2-2. Boston 2, Colorado 1 in the 7th. The Red Sox bullpen has been outstanding tonight in relief of Curt Schilling, who can record the win. Should make Schilling 11-2 in his incredible postseason career. Fouled back by Ramirez, but again, right with the pitch. Low 90s fastball from Fuentes.
Oh, and he's got real good command of both sides of the plate there, tying up Manny Ramirez in his swing.
Two balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Fuentes very deliberate on the hill. Ground ball softly hit. Tulowitzki with that cannon of an arm guns down Ramirez, who is 1 for 4. First man is out in the 7th inning for Boston. And Mike Lowell stride up to swing. A beautiful night here at Fenway. We all suffered through the raindrops last night, especially the fans who were not covered on and off. They all woke up very happy and confident today after the Red Sox 13-1 Game 1 victory.
Well, you know, and this Colorado Rocky team woke up. And as Clint Hurdle said, you know what, everybody showed up today. They're all accounted for. They're all in uniform. Their last loss was on September the 13th on the road.
Socked into right field, driving hop back, but he has plenty of room. And Mike Lowell is retired. He is 1 for 3. 2 gone in the 7th. So that'll send up J.D. Drew and a lefty-lefty tussle here. Boston held to 4 hits here in Game 2.
You know what? I'm just looking at the top of the order, though. I mean, really not anything going on up there. Nobody in the top 3 for Boston with a hit. But even when they don't hit, they've walked 4 times.
Out in front on the off-speed pitch is J.D. Drew. He has doubled. He's been hit by pitch. He's taken one of those walks that you spoke of. Red Sox had 5 hits in the first inning last night. Next hit tonight will be their 5th, but we're into the 7th. And yet they lead it 2-1. A ball and a strike on the Red Sox right fielder.
Looking at the top 3 in last night's game. For the Rockies, they were 1 for 12 with 5 strikeouts. Boston, they had 6 runs, 5 RBIs. I mean, they did everything. Matt Holliday has done his part. He's 3 for 3 tonight. He'll hit in the top of the 8th inning.
Cracked into right field for a base hit. J.D. Drew is 2 for 2, and he's reached base 4 times. That's on the heels of a 2 for 5, 2 RBI performance last night.
How ironic would that be for J.D. Drew to go from the regular season that he had, hitting .270 with only 11 home runs, to, being considered for the MVP of the World Series if they're able to win it.
He's on base for Jason Varitek here with 2 down. Varitek at .256 for the postseason. He's starting to warm up with the bat, although hitless tonight. He does have an RBI on a sacrifice fly in the 4th. He'll turn over and bat right-handed. And he takes down low for ball 1.
I think if Fuentes is able to get out of this, the real key is for somebody to get on base in front of Holliday. He's swinging the bat well. One time they did get on was Tavares in the 1st, and he was able to score because of one of the hits by Matt.
12 of 13 base runners reaching with 2 outs in this game. Across for another strike. Gets 1-1. Varitek with pretty good power. 17 home runs during the season. 1 and 2.
Fuentes respecting that power. Change up, curveball, the last 2 pitches.
Papelbon starts to throw in the bullpen. That cannot do Rockies' hearts a lot of good.
You know who he's getting ready for. Matt Holliday.
Drew at first with 2 down, and the 1-2 will not be made. A toss over instead. Red Sox with 5 hits, Colorado with 4. Both sides have pitched out of a bunch of jams tonight. The 1-2. Late on that swing, and down he goes for strike 3. For the Red Sox in the 7th, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We are going on to the 8th inning at Fenway Park with the Red Sox leading game 2, 2-1 over the Colorado Rockies. Out west to Denver, Colorado to get ready for game 3 of the World Series. Our coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight GMT, live from Coors Field on Saturday, October 27th. It'll be Daisuke Matsuzaka against Josh Fogg in game 3. In a tense game 2, the Red Sox have a 2-1 lead over the Colorado Rockies. Boston about to go a mile high, their beautiful Coors Field, which will certainly be rocking and rolling. Okajima stays on to continue to pitch. He had an uneventful 7th inning. He got them in order. Now it's the top of the order, and Tavares to be followed by Matsui and Holliday. He showed bunt, took a strike. Remember, in the American League Championship Series against Cleveland, the Red Sox won the opener easily. But then the game 2 went into extra innings, and it looked like the series might not return to Fenway once it got to Cleveland.
Well, it looked like the Red Sox were going to win game 2 easily. They had all kinds of opportunities late in the game. Just get a run, you win. They couldn't do it.
This game's still very much up for grabs. Tavares has been hit by a pitch. That was when Curt Schilling was on the hill to start the night. He would come in to score the only run so far for the Rockies. Since then, he's gone 0 for 2 with a couple of ground balls. The 0-2 pitch. He got him. Tavares will take a seat. He's caught looking, one away in the 8th.
You got to wonder how long he's going to be on that seat as well. Really struggling. There was talk of maybe giving him 4 more at-bats tonight. But where do you go? I mean, Spilborghs is an option to put in the outfield, but he struck out looking all 3 of his at-bats tonight. Just not a whole lot of offense for Clint Hurdle to choose from.
And Tavares is 0 for 7 with 3 strikeouts in the first 2 games. 5 Rockies have been caught looking at a 3rd strike, including this man, Matsui. That was back in the 3rd inning when Schilling fanned him. He's 0 for 3. Can't do it any better than the Red Sox pen has tonight. Earlier this season, facing the right-hand hitting threat Gary Sheffield of the Detroit Tigers, Okajima struck him out. And after the ballgame, Gary Sheffield said, "That is the finest performance against me of my life when there's been a left-hander on the mound."
That's huge right there. Gary Sheffield, you know he doesn't fear anybody when he's at home plate. But he met his match.
Holiday on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Down and in on Matsui.
Now, I think one of the biggest reasons the bullpen has been so good for Boston all year long is that they threw the 3rd fewest innings in the American League this year because of guys like that. All of the innings that Tim Wakefield was able to put up there with his 17 wins. Beckett, of course, Schilling when he was out there. Terry Francona using that rotation.
2-2. Okajima looking for 3 consecutive strikeouts. Fouled away by Matsui, who was a teammate of the Red Sox other Japanese star, Daisuke Matsuzaka, for several years with Cebu in Japan. The lefty with a 2-2. Too high. That fills up the count. Okajima starred for the Yomiuri Giants while pitching in the land of the rising sun. Our friends from NHK, Iso Taguchi, flashing that St. Louis Cardinals World Series ring he won last year. Right in the middle, the 3-2. Swing and a miss. He struck out another one. Matsui goes down. Okajima has struck out 3 in a row. 2 away in the 8th.
Take a look at this right here. Fastball, strike 1. Matsui trying to get on base, anything he can to bring Helton up as the go-ahead run. There was ball 2, but he made an adjustment. Curveball for a strike. Fouls off that curveball. Missed with that fastball. Now he can't afford to walk him. Fastball right down the middle, but enough velocity to pick up another strikeout.
And a giant ovation for Okajima as he came off. It's Papelbon coming on for the Red Sox, who lead it 2-1. Manny Ramirez walk-offs, and then there are Oki walk-offs. And how about this crowd responding to Hideki Okajima and his brilliant relief work tonight. 2 1/3 innings, 4 strikeouts, and he gives way to Papelbon.
Well, they've loved him from day one. You look at the numbers tonight, just absolutely perfect. A little bit more expected of him tonight, or actually needed from him tonight. And now you hand it over to the big boy. 37 for 40 in save opportunities this year for Papelbon. You look at the numbers again, no earned runs scored against him. He's a perfect 1 for 1. Those walks are up there a little bit, but that velocity is going to be way up there right now versus Holiday.
Pretty well rested into the World Series, and here's Holiday in there for a strike. You don't need any better example of how big a star Papelbon has become than this. He just entered the game in the 8th inning, and the flashballs popping across Fenway Park were the same as those that greeted Curt Schilling when he threw the first pitch of the game. Everyone found their cameras all of a sudden. Foul tipped into the mitt as he overpowered Holiday. Quickly, 0-2. The Red Sox bullpen, which has been fantastic tonight, is on the verge of striking out the side in the 8th inning. Base is empty, 2 down. Red Sox leading it 2-1. Great stab by Pedroia, but it rolls away from him. He will have no play. Well, first there was an ooh when it got by and almost took Papelbon with it. And then the on the diving stop by Pedroia. They're going to see if he's all right. Papelbon would like to know. Here comes Francona with the trainer.
After you check on Pedroia, I think you need to check on Papelbon. I mean, wow, that ball locked him up. I thought it might have got his right hand a little bit. It did not. He comes up okay, and then he's hoping that his second baseman can finish the play. That ball's hit so hard. Right back up. Look at the range from Pedroia, but when he couldn't come up with it and make the throw, I think he might have just maybe knocked the breath out of himself there.
Yeah, he actually had a big grin on his face when he got up.
Okay.
He's a tough kid. You're right about Papelbon, practically undressed by this Holiday shot. Holiday 4 for 4. Just hit a bullet. And here's Todd Helton. He represents the go-ahead run, and he's going to be picked off. Holiday cut down. He was out by a mile. And that ends the 8th inning. Papelbon picks off Matt Holiday.
There's no way he was going anywhere. He just got caught in between steps and couldn't get back. That's a huge mistake on the part of the Rockies.
It's been a theme for Holiday. He didn't get to the base. Last half of the 8th inning coming up from Fenway Park in Boston. Matt Holiday alone with his thoughts, but yeah, we can't believe it. We just saw either as he was cut down at first base. So where was he going?
I have no idea. I mean, he's got some speed. He's a good athlete. He stole some bases during the regular season, but that is not a situation where you even think about a stolen base. You've got to sit back and hope that Todd Helton can do something special.
So the Rockies lose an opportunity to at least tie up the ball game, and now they're running out of chances. Here come the Red Sox with Ellsbury to lead things off. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Boston on top 2-1. Hits are even at 5 apiece. Ellsbury is one of those, a single. He takes strike 1. Lugo next, and then Pedroia. So Todd Helton left at home plate as Holiday is cut down.
Never got to see a pitch.
Check swing, and it's outside. In the 9th, it'll be Helton, Atkins, and Hop. All of them drove in at least 91 runs during the regular season. But they're still going to have to face Papelbon. Fuentes with a 1-1 pitch. Fly to center field. Tavares is there. That is out number 1. Lugo on the way up for Boston.
You know, Ellsbury still had a pretty good night. I mean, on base a couple of times. He walked. He got a single leading off the inning in the 6th inning. That young man has stepped up.
Lugo has sacrificed bunt. He's gone 0 for 2, hitting .268 for the postseason. The series is about to shift to Coors Field. And Lugo is delighted with that because he's a .391 career hitter there. J.D. Drew also looking forward to that series for Boston. He's .368 at Coors Field. Running up to bunt, he fouls it off, and he's going to be out because he bunted it off himself in fair territory. Came up and struck Lugo. This will not be much of an argument, I don't think, from Terry Francona.
Well, you don't want to let your player not feel like that, you know, you're out there with him, but I think you're totally right. That was absolutely the right call and not that difficult of a call. Take a look. Is he in the batter's box or out of the batter's box when it makes contact with him? There it is right there. Came off his leg. Out into play. Terry will talk to him about it. Look at him. He's off and running right now, trying to get a hit right there. Hits that knee. It's a lot closer in slow motion than it was quick.
You know what? From up here, it looked like an absolute automatic, but you're right. On the replay, it looked a little closer.
Well, that's the look we had right there. I mean, to me, wow. I don't know. Can I change my mind?
A relatively quick argument nonetheless. The putout goes to the catcher. Here comes Hurdle. 2 down here in the 8th inning. And Hurdle will make yet another move to the bullpen. Out of the Colorado bullpen, a right-hander from Panama. Manny Corpus emerged as the team's closer just after the All-Star break.
Well, you see that already 7 appearances in the postseason. Dominant, tremendous in the division series and LCS, and just trying to get him some action, at least get him into a ball game is what they're doing here.
4-2 during the regular season in 78 appearances, a nifty 2.08 ERA and 19 saves for Corpus.
Yeah, how about 16 holes to go along with 19 saves?
Bases clean for Boston. Red Sox leading it 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th. With 2 down, Pedroia hitting. He's 0 for 3. Last night it was all about the extra base hits and the big bats of the Red Sox as they rolled to a 17-hit, 13-1 victory, complete with 8 doubles. Well, tonight, a totally different story. Neither side has hit much because the pitching has been too good, just 5 hits apiece. The major story emerging tonight has been the Boston Red Sox bullpen. The 2-0 from Corpus. Cranked to right field. That'll drop in for a base hit, and Pedroia is on his first hit tonight. Coming with 2 down in the 8th.
Well, they've had all kinds of opportunities to score more runs than that, but credit also has to go to the Colorado Rockies. Jimenez came up big when he had to. Burgess
Red Sox have left 11 men on base. Early on, they weren't getting many chances against that man. Ubaldo Jimenez was in the game for 4 2/3. As it stands now, he will be the losing pitcher. Youkilis is 0 for 2. He's also drawn a pair of walks. Last night he ripped 2 doubles. Ball 1. Well, tonight Boston with 1 extra base hit.
That was by Mike Lowell. Double that he had. Mike Lowell last night was the only Boston regular not to have an RBI.
Ortiz on deck, 2 down, a man on. High fly, twisting foul off to the right. 1-1 on Youkilis. We go to the ninth. The Red Sox will be 3 outs away from taking a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 World Series. The series about to shift to Colorado, and if they're all necessary, 3 games to be played at expansive Coors Field. The Rocky bullpen has also been tremendous tonight. Pedroia does not run much. 7 stolen bases during the season. Fouled away by Youkilis.
You know, as nice as it's been for Boston Red Sox here tonight, along with Game 1, you got to remember how good the Rockies have always been at home, and particularly this year with 51 wins at Coors Field. That matches Boston Red Sox record here at Fenway.
Holiday and company itching to get back home. You still have time to come home with a split.
Well, how about him? I keep looking out there between pitches, and he just, that being Matt Holliday, hangs his head. Possibly the MVP of the National League. Already MVP of the National League Championship Series. 4 for 4 tonight.
1-2 grounded toward the second baseman Matsui. Flips for the force. This side is retired. But we are going on in the 9th inning. And in Game 2, the Red Sox still have Papelbon on the mound and still have a 2-1 lead, trying to take a 2-0 lead on to Denver. The World Series has been brought to you by MasterCard. There's some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien with you from Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. The Red Sox poised to take a 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 series. But Helton, Atkins, and Hopp have other ideas against Jonathan Papelbon. The Red Sox last 1-run victory in the postseason. You have to go all the way back to the 2004 ALCS in Game 5 against the Yankees. That was a 14-inning 5-4 win on the David Ortiz single of Esteban Loaiza. That game took 5 hours and 48 minutes. The Rockies right now just thinking about tying up the Red Sox in Game 2 of this World Series. Fouled back by Todd Helton, who has gone 0 for 2 with an RBI ground out. 2 runs on 6 hits for the Red Sox, 1 run on 5 hits for Colorado. Papelbon allowed a base hit to Matt Holliday with 2 down in the 8th inning, but then picked him off at first base. How big will that one loom in this series? 1 ball, 1 strike. And by the way, from what we have found out, is the first time that Jonathan Papelbon has ever picked anybody off. Holiday is thrilled to know. One and two. He just looks overpowering.
Well, he was with Holiday up until he got 2 strikes, and then he let his location get a little bit away from him, and it cost him a base hit. He got out of that. One thing about Papelbon, he doesn't normally make the same mistake a second time.
Elton, the first man up in the 9th. 2-2. Elton, probably the most patient Colorado hitter. He drove 91 men in this season, but he also took 116 walks.
Well, I can't tell you how many guys in the National League, Trevor Hoffman being one, have told me they think Todd Helton their toughest out.
Took a rip, didn't he? Fouled it straight back. 2-2.
Well, it's just fun to see him healthy again. And this is a healthy cut. There are a lot of people that can't catch up to that velocity in that spot.
Helton with a 7-pitch walk in his last at bat. That was when Schilling was on the mound. Papelbon trying to lock up a victory for Curt Schilling in game 2. Got him. He struck him out. A big fastball from Papelbon for out number 1 in the 9th.
The location, watch the glove, and that's at 96 miles per hour. Just couldn't catch up.
Red Sox bullpen has struck out 4 of the last 5 Colorado hitters. And here's Garrett Atkins, who's gone 0 for 3. He is yet to homer in the postseason after 25 in season, and he takes ball 1.
You know, they might as well just take the seats out of this ballpark. These people don't use them. They're always standing.
Papelbon's 1-0 pitch. On the inside part of the plate for a strike. Took a little something off this for the breaking ball strike.
Yes, he did. Just coming back to barely catch the corner. Kind of. Guys of Las Diaz anyway.
Fly ball center field. Ellsbury coming on. He will make the catch. 2 down in the 9th. Well, whether they are using the seats or not, this could be the last time that the Fenway faithful get a chance to cheer for their Red Sox here at Fenway Park this year. If the Red Sox win this and go on to sweep the Rockies, they will celebrate the World Championship in Denver. Papelbon with 1 more out to get to secure game 2. Brad Hopp 1 for 3. Fouls it away for strike 1. Holiday certainly with some questions he may have to answer in a few minutes. Bases clean, 2 down, top of the 9th, 2-1 Boston. Oh, and 2.
They found the hole, haven't they? Not able to catch up with that fastball belt high. Brad Hop struck out 4 times in game 1, started by Josh Beckett. One more high fastball, and that could be the result again.
One and two as Hop laid off the splitter. One more strike for the Red Sox. And they will have a stranglehold on this series. Tulowitzki on deck. Hoping for a shot at Papelbon. Or is he? The 1-2. The Boston Red Sox are 2 wins away from another World Championship. Boston has won 5 consecutive postseason games as Papelbon does it with a flourish, and Helton and company are in deep trouble. The Red Sox win game 2, 2-1. As fine a relief performance as you're going to see in the postseason by the Red Sox tonight.
Well, it's easy to see why they were the best team in baseball all year long. With 96 wins during the regular season, they swept the Angels. They went on to beat the Indians. The reason for that is what we've seen here. OB is in game 1. They can slug it out. They can hit doubles. They can hit homers. In game 2, it came down to pitching. It came down to the bullpen, and it came down to defense. You hand over a lead to Okajima and Papelbon, you're going to win.
The final out. Papelbon with the K. And in fact, the Red Sox bullpen strikes out 5 of the last 7 Colorado batters to end this one with a big-time relief performance. And Todd Helton and the Rockies have to head on back to Coors Field after the off day tomorrow with a giant hole staring them in the face.
Well, I think the big thing, though, OB, is that they realize now that they can play with this team. They had a chance to win tonight. They sent the 23-year-old kid out there to the mound against Curt Schilling. And honestly, I mean, you look at it now, Beckett and Schilling are now a combined 17-4 in the postseason. They've done it before. The Rockies have never been here. They're going to go back home now. The next 2 games, they don't have to worry about Beckett or Schilling, and they're going to try to get back on track.
Have a look at our Pepsi play of the game. And Hideki Okajima with a big strikeout.
For me, there's no question about that being the biggest play of the game. There were 2 men on. The tying run, the go-ahead run. Curt Schilling could have either gotten the win or he could have gotten the loss. And with what Okajima did, he preserved the lead. They carried it all the way through the 9th inning, and Schilling picks up the win. Okajima leaving runners stranded. And don't forget, the guy he struck out was Brad Hop, who had 66 RBIs with 2 outs this year, best in the National League.
So Josh Fogg about to make the start of his life as he will pitch in game 3. He will start it for the Colorado Rockies. Time for a look at our priceless moment, brought to you by MasterCard, the final out.
Well, it's become a moment that they really, really enjoy here in Fenway, and they've gotten to see it a lot the last couple of years from their closer, Jonathan Papelbon. He gets the final out on a strike, 2 strikeouts and the 3 outs in the last inning. That makes it easy.
So it'll be Daisuke Matsuzaka to go in game 3 at Fenway Park. The Red Sox and their fans delighted by the proceedings tonight. 2-1 the final. Boston wins it. 6 hits to Colorado's 5. Red Sox fans certainly hoping that that was the final game to be played at Fenway Park this year. If that is the case, it means the Red Sox will win the World Championship away at Coors Field, which is how they won the 2004 title in St. Louis with a sweep of the Cardinals. There are many who predicted a sweep of the Rockies despite how hot Colorado was coming into the series, and so far they're halfway to being 100% correct.
They're going to enjoy it. Because like you say, it may not get back here. If it does get back here, I think the Rockies are going to have to shake the top of their order up a little bit. You can talk about Holiday getting picked off, but he also went 4 for 4. And if you put some men on base, it could have been a different story tonight.
Wound up looking more like 3 for 3, though, because he did get picked off. The Red Sox and the Rockies meeting in Game 3 of the World Series on Saturday night. Dice came out Suzaka against Josh Fogg, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's midnight GMT. We'll be switching venues, heading out west to beautiful Coors Field in Denver. Once again, our final score in Game 2 tonight. The Red Sox, behind a masterful job from their bullpen, defeat Colorado 2-1. Red Sox 11 out of 14 runners reached with 2 out, although only 2 of them scored. Schilling went just long enough. Papelbon gets the save. Don't forget Okajima, equally as good tonight.
Well, you just have to respect Curt Schilling and how he's been able to make the transformation from a power pitcher to a finesse guy and still be victorious.
Curt Schilling taking him out tonight. He's been so good in his postseason career. He is now 11-2. And the Boston Red Sox, behind the big fella tonight, got just enough offense to knock off Jimenez and the Colorado Rockies. A cool, crisp night for Game 2 of this World Series. Not a whole lot of offense, but Mike Lowell provided a big blow.
Well, he really did, but it was his error that led to the first run and the only run of the night again for the Rockies. They truly have never needed to get home more than they do right now.
Well, we're heading out west. For Rick Sutcliffe and our entire crew, I'm Dave O'Brien as we say good night from Boston. The Red Sox lead it 2-0.